The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good evening, class, and welcome back to another live episode of the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. For the record, I wanted to see if I would have the time to make a TNAP version of Get On Up and Drive That Funky Soul. I did not have time to make that. However, eventually, maybe one day, we'll get around and add that to our repertoire. It's in the title. It's in the description. It's in the thumbnail. This is going to be a spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home. This is your final chance to get the hell out of here. I kind of already spoiled the movie by playing the clip that I played at the beginning. So save yourself. If you've not yet seen the movie, get out of here. But since I think everybody who is here is watching, having already seen the movie, we're gonna get down to clown here in a moment. First things first, real quick word from our lovely sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys already know the drill. If you can't see, I've got one going right here. SundaysBloodyMary.com has some excellent Bloody Mary accoutrement. They got all kinds of cool Bloody Mary mix. They got the Spicy Caesar, which I'm sipping on tonight. They have a mild mix, a vegan mix, monthly subscription box. They have a holiday bundle going right now. I have some garnishes as well, okra, dilly beans, and pickled asparagus. If you guys would like to hook yourselves up with some of the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet, go ahead and go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP and checkout, and be sure to enjoy responsibly. That said, let's get on into this. We got Trey from Skywalking Through the League.
What's up, guys? I have not really talked about this movie openly online yet, so this is gonna be a fun time. I've been like holding in the secrets just because I don't want to be the guy who ruins the big secrets for anyone on Twitter. As long as I can wait, I think more people probably get saved from that little spoiler bug. So I'm really excited.
As am I. I don't think there's anybody who is more outwardly excited for this movie on any social media than you. And I would be remiss doing this show without you.
It's weird that it's like out now.
Right?
It's been like my baby for over a year. And now it's like, it honestly has taken me a little bit to kind of step back and just like see it as a movie and not see it as like the Reddit leaks and all, and like the video of Andrew Garfield with his hand here talking about web blocks that was so controversial on my timeline. But to quote another great Spider-Man movie soundtrack, you are vindicated.
Spider-Man 2 soundtrack is killer. We also got our homie from Comic Book Cast. We got Mitch joining us.
How's it going, everyone? I am buzzing for this to talk about this movie because me and Armin on the CBC talked about it a little bit, not as much as I'd like to, but yeah. And it's been a week for me now because I saw it on the Wednesday because we got early in the UK. But also, you're welcome, Jared, for getting the scoops on the movie before it came out.
Yeah. Oh boy,
I really inadvertently spoiled half the movie. No.
You were on it. You hit it out of the park. My girlfriend listened to the spoiler cast, and when we were seeing the movie together, she whenever we both saw Norman holding Peter up by his hair, doing this whole and now I'll break you, or whatever the hell he says. We both under our breath went, "Oh my God, Mitch was right." While the glider's booting up and gripping onto the armrest. Oh, fuck you, but you killed it. You absolutely got it right. And while they're here, speaking of getting it right.
Oh my God, he's actually on.
He's a patron.
Jared,
so
what have you done to me?
He's a patron, so he got his call-in link, and
Fair.
he beat you and Trey here. Like, he was in here like just before Trey and before you got in, and I was like, hey, you pay me. So Nick, here's your chance to get your 7 laughs in.
So Mitch, how's that crow tasting, bud?
I mean, it's probably better than that shoe, right? Well, where's that? It's been a week. Where is it?
I don't know what you're talking about. He was in the
You
episode.
know exactly what I'm talking about. I got Jared to back me up here.
Which one of the many wagers? Like, at this point, I've lost track myself. So
for this shoe, it was Kingpin has to be in episode. Spoilers for Hawkeye, by the way.
And he was
episode 5. And he
was in it. He was in it.
Yeah,
Not
Nick
physically.
won that bet.
He was not
he
physically in that. No,
That's not the
deal
parameters.
start to finish. He was in the
I
last
never
half
said it had to
second
be
as a
start to
photo.
finish.
They showed
never
him
said start to
in.
finish.
They showed him in it.
No,
That's all that matters.
No, I don't care. Because then that means he counts in the previous one, where it's just his hand. That doesn't count.
You saw his face.
Yeah, we got a full body reveal with Fisk. Either way,
it doesn't count. I don't count that one.
Either way, I would be remiss if I didn't give Nick his moment to say "I told you so" before I boot him.
Oh,
out
he's
of the
had
stream.
plenty of moments of those. Come on,
No, I mean public.
he's making me suffer as it is. Let's be honest. Nah, it's all fun.
But yeah, Nick, any quick thoughts on the movie before we get the review? On the
Are we
road?
allowed to? I'm allowed to talk about spoilers, right?
I should hope so.
All spoilers.
All right, good. Right. So you know how the Avengers assemble, part in an Endgame, right? And the big audience pop. So that was the reaction when Daredevil showed up. Like, it was a big pop. But I'm calling it the No Way Home nuke explosion now with Toby and Andrew showing up, because it was just 10 times louder when they showed up, and it was great.
Yeah, my first screening, my opening night screening, there was this pocket of guys down all the way at the front who clearly had cans of beer with them, and smuggled it into the theater. And I wouldn't say they were rabble rousing, but they were being. It was opening night, so they could get away with that shit. The portals open for the separate Spideys, and you see them whip around with their phone out, flash on, clearly recording a video, like toasting, like throwing their beers up in the air, going, "Whoa!" And like at one point in the movie, I'm pretty sure I like involuntarily was like, "I love Spider-Man," because I can't help but do that kind of thing when I'm watching these movies. And I think one of the guys like yelled it back at me. Where he was like, "I love Spider-Man." He like looked right at me and like held a beer up, like toasting at me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Also, another hello from other $10 patron. We got Paco in here. Nick, it looks like a friend of yours came to join us.
Yeah,
and we have Movie Trivia Schmodown Rookie of the Year, Jessica Schloth, in the chat as well. But yeah, Nick, thanks for stopping by, bud. I would keep you on a little longer, but I think we have a bit of a gargantuan show to get through. And Travis and Lexi will be joining us any moment. So it's already going to be a crowded field here tonight. So, Nick, thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting.
Thank you for having me on.
There we go.
It gets me every time.
It sounds like one of the animals in Attack of the Clones in the stadium fight.
It's the acolyte.
He sounds like that mantis guy.
God, he does.
Oh, that's so funny. While we're on the topic, Trey, what was your audience like? Like, what was your first round? Like, what was the crowd? How were they feeling?
So I will just start it out before I say all the good things. After the movie, when we basically see everything, and this film is essentially like chapter 6. No, because we have the MCU movies too. So like chapter 9 or whatever, like of Spider-Man, because we get Tobey, we get Andrews, we get Toms. And this guy next to me like goes to his friend, he goes, bro, I really should have seen the Spider-Man movies. I haven't seen a single one before this. I didn't understand. I was like, oh my God. Wow. This was not the movie for you, bro. Like, how did you I was almost sad that he got an opening night ticket and not someone else that like would have appreciated it more. But besides that, it was epic. It was probably one of my favorite theater experiences of my life besides The Force Awakens. And it was just like people were screaming, but like it wasn't too loud. It was like a really good energy. And I mean, obviously, like there's a few moments in it that really get people going. For me, it was the first one who was Daredevil. I am a giant Daredevil fan. I'm currently reading a Daredevil comic, like 3 Daredevil comics every day for the past few weeks. I just love that character. He's probably he might have even passed Spider-Man as my favorite character in superheroes. So seeing Charlie Cox, an actor who I have tweeted is my favorite superhero casting of all time, is him as Matt Murdock, is just it was just awesome. I wish it was more because I think they filmed more scenes with him. That's a separate conversation, but that just blew my mind. It was so great seeing him. And then obviously like seeing my other favorite casting, Andrew Garfield, like blew my mind. It was so cool. And he just rips his mask off. And it was great hearing everyone cheer because he hasn't. Oh yeah, he should have shouted, "It's the werewolf." It was great hearing people cheer for Andrew Garfield because like we've all been on Twitter. It has not been cool to like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man for a while. And I feel like suddenly it is cool. And a few of us that have been Andrew Garfield day oneers are like, not gatekeeping, obviously, because Spider-Man's for everyone, but kind of been like, this was not always the energy, surrounding this.
Yeah, there's a righteous indignation that's like, now you get it.
Yeah, because obviously, not obviously, a lot of people do like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I like Amazing Spider-Man 2 quite a bit. Saw something in Andrew that maybe the writing wasn't there, but his performance was. So it was great seeing him, great seeing Tobey, great seeing some of the moments that we all thought after the trailers of, MJ falling. Oh, Andrew Garfield has to save her. And it happened. And it happened like not in a way that was just fan service, but a way that actually felt natural. And that was probably my biggest takeaway from the movie is that these all felt natural. And I did not think it would. Like I lost a bet about the Rotten Tomatoes score. I bet my friend that it was going to be 87%, and he was 95, and he bet 92. So I sent him a figure. If he's listening, I don't want to say what it is because he hasn't opened it yet. But anyways, it was just an awesome experience to answer your first question.
Yeah,
my first round, not my third round. I told a lady to shut up my third round.
Which is funny, and sometimes it'd be like that. Mitch, what was your opening night crowd like?
We don't have that culture over here.
No,
like people generally don't clap. You don't have the cheers.
That's boring.
Some could say boring, some could say civilized, but that's a different conversation.
Shut up, colonizer.
I know that reference.
Yeah.
TikTok.
You say Black Panther, a character who's not going to have a movie come out next year. That'll be my shoe to eat. That'll be my crow to feast upon.
No, there's no way that movie makes it. There's no way.
If Black Panther comes out next year, I will get a ass tattoo of the country of Wakanda.
Do you even know what shape it is?
Google works.
Fair enough.
Google map of Wakanda.
But I will say, going back to the audience thing, there was one pop from a few people in there. And surprisingly, it was for Garfield. Out of the 3 you'd expect, Daredevil, Garfield, and Tobey. Tobey got nothing. Whether it's because he doesn't look like Tobey Maguire in this movie whatsoever, I don't know. But yeah, it was Andrew that got an actual audible reaction.
Maybe it's because he's British.
It could very well be, but so is Charlie Cox, and nothing for Charlie Cox.
I always forget
Charlie
Charlie's
Cox is British.
No, he's a London boy. All the best MCU characters are at the minute, in fairness.
You're not wrong. There is some truth to that. I will also say, my theater was more excited for Toby, which was like
mine too.
There was like a woo whenever Andrew showed up, but like the portal Toby comes through. That was whenever like the toasts between the people drinking in the front started. I just want to say, the AMC I go to does not have booze in it. It's not one of those cool AMCs that have a MacGuffins. They snuck that beer in, which makes it funnier, in my opinion. Popping into the chat that I see right here. Yeah, my theater did have a reaction for Daredevil. I could tell most of my opening night crowd were people who were following the rumors and leaks, because there was a reaction to everyone that was like a big rumor, which I was not surprised by. I was super excited by yeah, there's your boy. I was super surprised by the big reaction to Daredevil. Obviously happily surprised, but I was not expecting people, like, upon seeing the cane, for the whole room to be like, oh, like that was the noise. Like it was just this like slow rumble, and then he said,
"That's some real fans." Like,
yeah,
not everyone knows who Daredevil is.
No, he's not like a layup like most of the other characters who were in the movies. So there was like a cool moment of like people all going like, "Whoa, here he is!" Also, Jan Campia, fuck you. I really wish I never saw that picture. Like Toby and Andrew, I was kind of numb to it. Seeing the photo with Matt in it, I wish I still had the level of unsureness going in as to whether or not Matt Murdock would be in it. And I was still unsure. Part of that was me trying to like gaslight myself into forgetting that I know he's in the movie now. But nonetheless, it was still a great reaction. That went from Andrew in the suit, little woo. It was a well-earned woo. Paco, are you watching from two different devices? I'm so confused right now.
He's commenting on his phone and watching on his TV.
I know there's a pink Paco and a gray Paco.
Dude, it's Toby and Andrew. It's Paco and Paco.
Toby and Andrew have been Paco this entire time.
Paco is the werewolf.
Yeah, Paco is the werewolf. He's the one making me say all these ridiculous names. Real quick, before we talk specific movie anymore, by the way, I do think this absolutely needs to be brought up. Spider-Man No Way Home was the second biggest box office opening ever. Is where it is clocking in. This is from CNN Business, December 20th. So this report was from yesterday. Spider-Man made even more money than originally projected. No Way Home, the latest movie in the MCU, notched a record-breaking opening weekend at the domestic box office by bringing in $260 million. That's up from Sunday's projection of $253 million, and it's remarkable in a pandemic. No Way Home has swung past Avengers Infinity War, which opened at $257 million in 2018. And like we said, second biggest opening of all time domestically. The only movie that currently outranks No Way Home is, surprising to no one, Endgame. So the fact that this movie's hanging out with Endgame and The Force Awakens in terms of like just sheer box office dominance absolutely blows my mind. Hold on. You guys keep talking. I gotta send Travis the link because it seems
I guess 180 million opening weekend.
Oh wow. You lowballed that one.
Yeah, and at first I was like 250. And then I was just like, we're still in a pandemic. But I don't think that really mattered to people.
Should have stuck to it. I was one of these, if it cracks 100 million, I'll be surprised.
You made me look smart.
But then it's one of these where it's just blown past everything. Absolutely everything. It's like, everyone was wrong. There was no way anyone could have predicted it would do this much. Like 600 million global or whatever it was is insane.
It was staggering to look at the box office reports. Because whenever big movies come out, I just enjoy just like, refreshing Deadline and Vanity Fair and shit to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Seeing the fact that there was no longer the like 3 paragraphs explaining how COVID is affecting box office that we see with every other movie release, even the ones that have performed incredibly well, like Shang-Chi, The Eternals, stuff like that. Seeing them go like, so like here's this multi-million-dollar opening weekend, and we're comparing it to The Force Awakens and the Avengers Endgame, and it's still Friday. And there they are. Hello there. What do you got? What's on the? I'm going to full screen you guys as I'm trying to wear your shirts.
Oh yeah.
Oh, rat behavior. It's
Is that a band?
No.
I've gotten that more than once.
Really? One of my favorite Twitch streamers, Julian Salamita. That's his little catchphrase thing that he says to his fans, that we're committing rat behavior. So
I like it. It's fun.
Thank you.
Okay, I think both Trey and Mitch, I think, have inadvertently referenced either this movie or another Spider-Man movie, because one of you said it's on again earlier, and then now I'm wondering if Trey, if you're trying to do like, you're an Avenger? Is that a band?
That was literally exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Good.
Is that a band?
I recognized.
Is that a band? Are you in a band?
We were lightly talking box office, but Travis and Lexi, you guys saw No Way Home together for opening night. You guys saw it like an hour or two before I did. What was your crowd like? Because that was the kind of like the first point of discussion we had before you guys got here. That's pretty much all you missed. You guys missed that, and Nick rubbing it in Mitch's face that Daredevil was in the movie.
Valid.
It's fine. It's fine.
So about 2 weeks before the movie, we were on the phone, and we're on the phone with our friend Billy, and we're talking about going to see Spider-Man. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go see it Thursday or Friday. And I said, you know what, that theater's always dead. I'm not worried about getting tickets ahead of time. And Lexi goes, you should look just in case.
Because it's a big college town, and
it's the end of finals week. It's Spider-Man. You should look. And so I look on Fandango, and this place doesn't do reserved seats. All of the Spider-Man showings have reserved seats, and all of the showings are like almost sold out. We got like the last 2 tickets of our showing, so it was a completely filled theater for the entire movie. And it was very funny watching everyone warm up to the idea of cheering at a Marvel movie again.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, we're talking spoilers, right? You already said the...
Yeah.
Okay, good. Daredevil came on screen, and everyone reluctantly cheered. Like, someone wooed.
It just felt weird to cheer, and then everybody cheered.
Everyone remembered, like, wait, this is exciting. We can yell about this.
So there was a lot of cheering, and it was very nice.
That's very funny. I'll tell you guys, as I brought it up to Mitch and Trey, I had this very rambunctious group of guys all the way down in the front who you could tell as they were moving around, like clearly had many beer cans with them that they smuggled into the theater.
That reminds me.
And
I smuggled in an entire. She smuggled.
I smuggled an entire sandwich and fries
from Sheets.
in. Yeah.
Most impressive.
Thank you.
I still contend that the most impressive movie theater food smuggling ever was me bringing a whole ass fucking salad.
Yeah.
Brought a 16-inch Jimmy John sub once to If Beale Street Can Talk, and I opened it, and it was just loud as hell, and I was so embarrassed because it was full theater, and I just pull out this giant sub.
I've brought soda cans before. Just like
I was really worried the person next to us was going to be like, "What are you eating? They don't sell that here." Because like it's a fried chicken sandwich. Like it smells like grease now in the entire theater.
Good.
But anyway.
Hey, it's better. It's better than whenever someone was hitting their dab pen when we saw Joker.
Yeah. Like just visible clouds.
They needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need
We
it.
live in a society. But no, so these guys up front, they were like pretty rowdy, but they were having a good time, the kind of shit you can only get away with on opening night. And then whenever Andrew and Toby came through the portals, the guy was like clearly recording it on his phone, and you saw him like flip the camera around to show him and his friends like all like aggressively like toasting with their beer cans, and then like spun around to get the whole audience.
That
And-
reminds. Go ahead,
What
sorry.
are you saying, Trey?
That reminds me of that TikTok where it's like The Force Awakens opening night, and this guy's his flash on. It's like, turn your flash off, you effing moron.
That's a good
But it was funny. So you guys had a reaction to Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what we didn't talk about. Anybody's theaters obviously, Mitch, you said yours wasn't very lively because British.
He never is,
But-
yeah.
Were there any villain reactions?
Nope.
Yeah. I think just to Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Because like Doc Ock showed up in
And
that.
Goblin, I thought.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There was like a.
Like those two, yes, but like nobody else.
I had a like visceral reaction to like once his final costume was done for Goblin.
Mhm.
Oh, and
But
he
he's
had
torn
like
up
the
and-
purple sash and everything.
Like I just realized it very last minute.
Jessica, what's your spaghetti policy at this theater?
That's awesome. Oh my god. I think that's
Oh, we
better than
got Bill the
your
Thrill Sheehy in here. My friends and I at college would bring full plates of Ben and Jerry's.
That's
Oh,
legit.
I love these live shows so much. Someone was with a dab pen in F9. Blame. Yeah, you gotta get a little stoned and watch Fast and
That was
Furious.
me.
Understandably. Sandman got a big reaction at Bill's showing. That's funny. I don't know why
And it
Sandman
was probably
got a
Bill.
reaction.
Bill's a big Thomas Hayden Church guy.
I was alone. There was like rumblings whenever Doc Ock showed up. People were like, ooh, like out of excitement. I was the only person who let out like a really loud whoa whenever Otto showed up. And it was not like I did not consent to my body making that noise. But like the excitement of seeing Doc Ock on the big screen hit me like real hard. It just hello, Peter. Like, I fucking love Dr. Octopus. One of my favorite parts of the movie. But so yeah, I was just curious what everybody's reactions were like. And now that we have our full team here, Trey, I think I'm going to start with you, since I know you'll probably be tapping out in like at the hour mark.
I do tend to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you did that with the Alex Jones show too, and I couldn't blame you on that one either.
Short and sweet.
Sure. Sometimes there is such a thing as too much of that bastard.
Ask
Trey,
Jess.
what has been your like hardest to come to terms with, like unpack moment from the movie that you just like keep that, like when you think about it, you keep coming back to, like the thing that when you go back in knowing it's coming, you're the most excited to sink your teeth back into?
I guess I'll answer that with my favorite scene. My favorite scene is Toby and Doc Ock talking to each other because it's like so wholesome.
Dear boy.
They did something that out of a movie that had a lot of really great moments, I think my favorite thing that they did was make Doc Ock a hero, like halfway through the film again. Like he was conscious, the tentacles were gone, and like Dr. Otto Octavius was back. And to me, that was probably like my favorite plot thing that they did in this whole movie. Is I loved seeing that. It was an enormous payoff from seeing Spider-Man 2 in 2004 or whatever, and waiting 17 years to see this character again and him like be a hero, and just him talking to Toby was like, they played that Raimi theme, and it was just epic. But I would be lying if I said that Andrew Garfield taking his mask off was not like a monumental moment for me. I've been a giant Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan for a long time. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. I love it. I understand it's not the best, but sometimes you like to watch a train wreck. And I just love seeing him again. It was so great. And him pulling off his mask was just like Twitter arguments and subtweets about me just like disappearing and just being pure happiness because Andrew's back, baby. And that's like, that meant a lot to me.
I was very excited too. I've gone to bat for Andrew Spider-Man a good bit myself, and I feel that a lot. Everything you said, both Otto and Andrew. There was definitely a moment of like, holy shit, this is real that happened when he takes the mask off. Because there's no getting around like, oh my God, he's here.
And he was the first one too. Like,
yeah,
he was the first one they showed. And that was important to me because I felt like they gave him the most out of him and Toby to like shine. Like Toby did great and he had some amazing lines, but like I really felt like they really tried to make Andrew like a fan favorite again. And it's pretty easy to me because I mean like simple things like Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 3.
Peter 3.
Like Andrew just killed it in every line delivery. So
especially the stuff where he's like off screen, like in the background of a scene. I like I said, I saw it a second time yesterday, and I had so much fun watching him in the background of the conversation between Toby, Peter, and Ned. Where it's like, so did you ever have a best friend? Yeah, he died in my arms after he tried to kill me.
It was tragic.
It was tragic. The way Andrews is watching it.
Yeah.
And it's super low in the mix. I didn't quite hear it the first time. But after he says it, you hear Andrew reach over, like put his hand on Toby's shoulder and go, dude. Like it's super quiet, but he just kind of like, and I can't tell if he's telling Toby to shut up or he's trying to comfort Ned. But he's dude, stop. Like, it's very
Doesn't
funny.
he give Ned the thumbs up as well, like a sarcastic one, like, "Oh yeah, sure, like you're not going to turn evil against him, like yeah."
Yeah, it was after Ned was like, "I love you and I'll never hurt you." His like little thing there, and he was like, "Yeah." Also, quick theory. I've been thinking about this since I saw it opening night. Andrew Garfield killed Dane DeHaan, Harry Osborn, and you can't change my mind. He absolutely
stopped
killed
pulling
Harry.
his punches.
I stopped pulling my punches. I got rage filled. He killed Harry for killing Gwen. I think they made that very clear without him saying the words. I think it makes the final confrontation with Green Goblin and him and Toby just kind of looking on while Tom beat the piss out of Norman, which get to that soon. That's my big takeaway from that moment is that I think Andrew Peter killed Dane DeHaan and Harry Osborn. Mitch, how many viewings are you in so far?
I am
just the one.
2.
You're 2.
I'm 2 in, yeah.
What is it? Yeah, amateur hour over here. I say that because I have only seen it twice. But the same thing with Trey. Like, what's been the scene that, like, going in the second time, you were like, I can't wait to see this again?
I mean, favorite scene. It's the swing. It's that first swing on a Statue of Liberty. And they just all one by one jump off, and you get the woos and the cheers as they go by. And it's just, I don't know. It's something about this, that one moment. You don't need any dialogue for it, and it's just seeing the three of them. Like, sure, they don't work well together at the first, but just that initial first swing, there's something special about that. But
I need art of their pose on top of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, that'll come out. I can't.
That's like, I need a huge print of it on my wall yesterday. Pictures of Spider-Man.
But to go to your like, what's the one scene you keep going back to? It might be a bit of an unorthodox one, but it's the post-credit with Venom. And there's that little tiny, you might be skipping ahead of that little tiny bit he leaves over. It's like, how are they going to handle that? because out of the entire movie, that's the thing I keep coming back to is what are they going to do specifically with that? Are we going to have Tom Hardy back? Is it going to be a similar version to the Venom movie, Tom Hardy? Because I assume Tom Hardy's just going to do the voice for the character.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Are they going to go, say, the Matt Gargan route and have Scorpion?
That's what I'm hoping.
Because that's the what I'm leaning on more.
It's better than Flash.
See, but they could do something really interesting with Flash.
I agree, yeah.
Because
If they have Flash be Venom, I'd rather they do Agent Venom, and this version of Flash is not enlisting in the military anytime soon.
He's one more. I think he's like one more movie away. Like after 4 and the 5th one, his whole new kick is joining the army or something.
Knowing how much of a poser this version of Flash is, him getting his legs blown off. Like, I'm going to join the army, Penis Parker. Poof! Legs blown off, Lieutenant Dan style.
But he can't say Penis Parker because he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, he doesn't know who Penis Parker is anymore. That's true, yeah.
So, yeah.
Travis?
It's just that one Venom bit is nuts to me.
I love that scene. I've just had like the Eddie, we are drunk in my head since that night. Like it's just I love the Venom Eddie interaction so much because it's just so hammy and ridiculous. And there's a part of me that is truly sad to my core that I will never get to see Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin and Tom Hardy's Venom on screen together.
Never say never.
Never say never. I also don't know if there's enough scenery on set for them to chew together.
That's true.
But
fair point, yeah.
Oh my god, we are drunk. It's so funny. Travis and Lexi, since you guys are only one screening in, I presume.
Yeah.
So what is the scene that you're most looking forward to seeing again if you go back for seconds?
You want to go first?
You go.
That means I have to think of one.
Same. All of it, basically.
I
don't know.
First off, the literal last shot of the movie, because they don't hold on to it long enough, and I want to see what the suit looks like again.
Yeah. It'll end up in the game in a week, in a month.
Well, isn't it already the Fortnite one or something? I've seen people say Fortnite spoiled the end of the movie 2 weeks before it came out because it's the same suit or something like that. Is it not?
I don't think. Is it
so? There's
the blue's too metallic.
There's a
isn't the logo the same
suit
or something?
There's a blue and red suit in the new Battle Pass, but it's not identical. And then it's not even actually Tom Holland Spider-Man unless you buy the Tom Holland Spider-Man skin, which is then just his suit from the beginning. It's the red and black one. It's that one. But that
Andrew saving MJ.
That's a big one.
That was my favorite, I think.
The sequence with them first meeting, Andrew and Toby first meeting Tom after MA dies.
Oh man, that is such a gut-wrenching. It's played so well. Everybody is acting their ass off in this movie, and it's incredible.
What else? I don't know. I guess the condo fight stuff. I think I want to see more of again. I don't know. I just want to. Everything happens so fast.
This movie made me forget that I knew Tom Hardy's Venom was somewhere in the MCU for the entirety of the movie, and it just made me forget until the end credits scene.
Yeah, whenever it cuts to him, I love how they let him talk before they show his face, so that the people who've seen the Venom movies can recognize that very weird voice that Tom Hardy makes for Eddie. That's just
Tom Hardy talking.
No, it's not though. Tom Hardy doesn't sound like that.
Tom Hardy is a squeaker.
He has a little bit more bass in his voice. He doesn't do this weird thing with his voice, man. It doesn't sound like an actual person. I think that's why I think Venom is so funny. The first movie is that on top of biting a lobster's head off and shit, he just sounds like that while he's saying words. But that's me. And Lexi, you touched on it, the condo fight. Oh my God. This is the best fight choreography in the MCU, and I think that's saying something, seeing as we got Shang-Chi like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like Shang-Chi had some of the most like impressive, like on a technical level. Some of these fights had like Daredevil level, I feel every punch. Like the throwdown between Peter and Green Goblin was just insane. Like Peter was, I don't think we've ever seen Peter throw his full weight behind a hit before. Like that, like even when like we see him fighting Thanos in Infinity War, like it still feels like he's kind of like, you know, fighting with kid gloves because he knows he can like rip a car in half if he wanted to. And the way he is just laying into Green Goblin is so insane. And you know, I sent a message into the group chat I have with Lexi and Travis, and like I was, you know, I phrased it in a funny way. But all jokes aside, I have not been able to stop thinking about Green Goblin suplexing Peter Parker through the floor yet. Like, I have not fully processed him just like he even grunts weird while he does it and just throws him through the floor. The way their super strength is portrayed in this fight is so good. Willem Dafoe's scenery chewing, you know. Norman's on sabbatical, honey. Like, oh, like chills down my spine. Like, I saw talk about it on TikTok, and it looked like a hot take, but I'm going to co-sign it right now. I think, I'm going to say Norman Osborn. Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin is just as, if not more iconic than Heath Ledger's Joker.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Especially after this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even way before this movie.
I agree with
Says
you.
the guy with Willem Dafoe as his profile picture.
I mean, that's just a funny bit.
He's also mastered like the Jim Carrey smile, like the Jim Carrey like face
the
contortion.
rubber man face.
The thing that blows me away, it's like partially like his facial performance as the Green Goblin. And I can't remember who said it on like what platform talking about the movie, but the way that like the light goes out in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how you do that as an actor. Like I don't know how you like literally make it look like you have nothing behind your eyes. Because he's so wholesome and he's so sweet, like leading into that, you know. And I had this conversation with Alexis that I immediately, like the first time I started crying in this movie was whenever Norman was at Feast. Because, and I want everybody's opinion on this. I'm very curious. All the way back in Spider-Man 1, whenever Norman's doing his whole, like, you know, it wasn't me, it was the goblin, don't let him take me again. You know, I was like a father to you, be a son to me now speech. When I was a kid, all the way up to today, I thought he was bullshitting Peter. Like in my soul, I was like, he's trying to give him, like, this is his like last Palpatine style, join me or I will kill you. Like your options are me or dying. And I never thought Norman was telling the truth in that scene. Like I knew that like there was a weird split personality thing happening with the Green Goblin persona, but like I never believed Norman that I always felt like he was giving the Goblin control. Like he was handing the reins over to the Goblin willingly. And that the Green Goblin persona was like permission to act on his darker instincts. I never thought he was telling the truth until that scene where he's talking to May and Peter in the Feast kitchen. And I started crying. Like I immediately was reduced to tears because I was like, he meant it. He meant it all the way back in Spider-Man 1, and the Green Goblin killed Norman Osborn. Like when he gets impaled with his glider and he's like writhing around in pain and he's like, don't tell Harry. Like that wasn't Norman playing cover my ass. It wasn't him with some grand scheme. Like the Goblin got him killed. And I'm getting choked up thinking about it. It's so tragic. And it's so horrific. Like And like you said, like he just wanted to be free. Like just the way that he's trapped in his own head. It is so, pardon me, it is so tragic. And I was completely moved by it. You know, Doc Ock is my favorite Spider-Man villain overall. And I can't even call him a villain in this movie because Trey, like you said, and it was my big prediction and my big want for this movie that Otto would help Team Spider-Man by the end, and he did. And I got that moment of him, like, you know, kind of bitch slapping Electro. But Green Goblin broke my heart in this, and I just had that reaction that I have with the Green Goblin in any piece of media I see him in, where you have like that moment of like, oh man, this poor guy, like this is crazy. And I'm like feeling for him. And then he kills Aunt May. And in the back of my head, I'm just like, go kill that green son of a bitch. Put him in the ground, rip him apart. No mercy. Fucking kill him. Like no questions. Like I wanted Peter to put him down. And I love that, too weak to send me to die. I just wanted to kill you myself. Like, again, like top 3 moments in the movie is that exchange. That said, I'm trying to like speed around some of the like big overall thought questions. Trey, who is your like standout villain? I know that like we have the big 3 of Electro, Ock, and Gobby, but
it was the Lizard Man. No, I'm kidding. He was not. He was not even really in this movie. I mean, Norman. Like Norman was great. I'm glad Avi Arad was not the villain of this movie. Did you guys see the ending where he congratulated himself? Like, it was like Avi Arad, the creative visionary behind Spider-Man. We would like to thank him for
the original true believer.
The original true believer. For Lexi and maybe Travis, Avi Arad is one of like the heads at Sony Pictures who has the blood of both Spider-Man franchises before this on his hands. He's the reason why they shoehorned like 3 villains in the Spider-Man 3, and is the reason why Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the clusterfuck that it is, because he was like, let's have the Green Goblin, Electro, and the Rhino, and we'll have this whole basement where all of the Sinister Six's equipment is in it. Avi Arad is the reason why every Spider-Man franchise up to this point takes a very steep nosedive very quickly, and we would like to thank Avi Arad. Hold on, try full screen.
Yes. Love that.
Avi Arad is the Injustice Superman version of Kevin Feige. To put it in simple terms.
True visionary. But I mean, like, it was like Sony didn't mess this one up. Like, I think that was like my biggest like villain takeaway. It's like Amy Pascal and her crazy hair let Kevin Feige do whatever he wanted to do, and it worked. Like, I think everyone will agree that Andrew Garfield's writing in this film was better than any of his other films. Like, he truly
100%.
was able to do what he is capable of doing for the first time, I feel like, in a Spider-Man movie. And that was great. And like, that's why we're seeing on Twitter people be like, make the Amazing Spider-Man 3. And hell yeah, I'm fully supportive of that. So it was just great seeing Sony like not mess up. Now there's like reports that they want to make like an Electro movie and stuff, which is like, that's the point where I start laughing again at Sony, because like an Electro movie about a guy who had his powers taken away. Like, what? I don't get that.
The thing that I love about the Sony villain on villain movies is
I
that
love them.
They
so weird.
To pair these villains off with other villains to fight, they have to reach even further down to pick a villain for them to fight.
Give me the Spot.
So you like, who's going to fight the Spot? You know, Venom, they had to reach all the way down to use Riot. You know, I don't even know who the villain in Morbius is going to be aside from the screenplay.
I'm Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
Oh god, that movie. Instead of Michael Morbius turning into a vampire, just let him turn into Paolo Gucci.
I think Jared Leto's the villain of that one. He's gonna like recruit the girls from his cult to like come and like be vampires.
I forgot about Jared Leto's cult.
I did not.
Forgot he had a cult.
I did not. He is.
I can never forget about it.
I wish I could get it.
His own.
Why does
his
Jared
own
Leto still have a
island.
platform? Like, why are we still casting him? Like, what is he good in? He
House
was
of
fine in
Gucci?
Blade Runner.
Good question.
He's good in House of Gucci the same way Tommy Wiseau is phenomenal in The Room. But yeah, like you said, like who do you pit Electro against? Is like you said, like the Spot. I hope everything you said comes to pass.
Spot's dope. Spot's a great villain.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's the
that's
rumored
so
villain
funny.
for Spider-Verse, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I heard them. I'm like 85% sure.
Oh, I really hope that doesn't happen. I'm banking on my interdimensional vampires for Spider-Verse. I am not going to be happy until I see more Lund as the main villain.
What if it's Jared Leto's Morbius?
I'll take that too, as long as he's
In
doing
live
the Paolo
action.
Gucci
Like,
voice.
surrounded
Yeah,
by
he's in live
animation,
action.
It's
It's
just
like-
real life.
Yeah,
It's
who killed Roger Rabbit.
I was gonna say it's reverse of
Sure,
Space
right.
Jam.
Wow.
Travis and Lexi, favorite villain the bunch. Unless I feel like this is gonna be. I'm not even gonna bother asking Mitch.
I mean, my answer might surprise you.
Okay, is it back? Okay, are we going back to formula?
I mean, if you want to know,
Okay,
it's your
Who's your
show.
favorite- who's your favorite villain in the movie, Mitch?
Oh, it's the lizard. That's a half sarcastic answer and half genuine because I adored the fact that he does absolutely nothing and he's just waiting for shit to pop off.
Yeah,
The second they find out he's going to try and fix everyone, he's like, it ain't going to work. I'm just going to sit in this van and wait. And then when it kicks off, I'm going to come out the van. And that's just this entire thing in the movie. I adored it.
I want to answer this question in a minute and pose this to you guys. My favorite thing about the lizard in this movie is the way that he was just this chaotic evil, kind of like what you were saying. But to take it a step further, whenever he can clearly see that all hell is broken loose, like Electro attacks Otto, he can see that Peter is fighting Norman Osborn, and the way that the lizard just jumps out of nowhere to be like, "Told you, bitch," and then throws him at Norman, and like he's like,
Actions
"I
have
want
consequences.
Because
that
what
and the
do
way
you
that
do with the lizard? Like, it's just, no, a thin, cheap line of, oh, we can't have you being seen walking the building despite this guy with 4 metal arms walking in behind you. But
it's so funny.
I love it. No, seriously, it's Norman. He's absolutely Norman. And here's the thing, I'm not even a huge proponent of the Raimi movies. No, growing up
No,
with those movies,
that's what I think is so funny.
It took me about 3 times to even watch the first one all the way through. Skipped the second one in theaters, saw the third one, and I was like, I'm done. But they did such a good job with him here.
He's so good. He is so good in this movie. I love the voice. I love the facial expressions. I hope it becomes a reaction meme. His like almost sexual reaction.
Myself.
The almost sexual reaction he has when he like pops the claws out of his gauntlet. And he's just like again, it's just like the look on his face. He's so good at this movie. He's criminally good.
I honestly think he's better in this than he ever was in the Raimi movie.
I agree. I think they let him off his chain completely here.
100%.
Travis, Lexi, favorite villain, and you're not allowed to say the lizard.
The tree.
Oh.
The tree.
Is this a tree monster or just a tree?
I was waiting to say that one because I was hoping everyone else would say lizard and I would go tree. It's the tree.
The tree.
But it's between obviously Norman and Doc Ock. I think just because Green Goblin, that whole like inner fight between himself and the Green Goblin, I really felt for him. but also Doc Ock, because I'm getting choked up.
No, he was just
He
so
was
happy to
finally,
have his
like,
head back.
Yeah.
Dear boy.
Yes. I don't know. I think it's just both of them. How about you?
I'm gonna say Norman, only because like for the last act, Doc Ock isn't like really a villain, you know.
Yeah.
I just love that he
But,
joined their
yeah.
side. That's just. I know he's not really a villain, but I think that's why I like.
Yeah.
That.
But just, and it's like Mitch said, Defoe is like even better here than he is in the Raimi film, and like, just he sells it so hard because, we were kids when Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know Spider-Man was supposed to have web shooters as a young kid. Like I was just like, oh yeah, no, he makes the webs.
Yep.
That makes sense. And then Amazing Spider-Man came out, and I was like,
I was so confused.
He has web shooter. Oh, it's always like
I didn't even know it was always like that. I just which one was what's the truth?
Yeah. And so Green Goblin was like the shit to me as a little kid. Like I had a board game for Spider-Man. I have somewhere in my closet, I think it was like a popcorn tin from the Spider-Man one, and it has like the both of them fighting.
Oh, that's so cool.
I was just seeing him get to be a goblin, like a real life goblin, made me so happy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just I know that like it's in the pantheon of like fan casts that we've heard so many times that like part of me never wants to see it. You're like Bryan Cranston as Lex Luthor, Willem Dafoe as the Joker, and the again, like I keep going, like the Norman's on sabbatical, honey. Like it's moments like that where it's like, oh god damn it, this would be such a good Joker. Like it's like this is everything. Like this would be the perfect culmination of it. And Doc Ock is my favorite Spider-Man villain because, and Mitch, we had this conversation on the prediction cast last week that the reason I love the Otto Peter dynamic so much is that in so many versions, it's this like reverse Obi-Wan and Anakin relationship where Peter looks up to Otto and has like a pseudo student and teacher relationship with him because he's like, you're like in the PlayStation game, you're everything I wanted to be, like he holds Otto on such a pedestal, and Peter having to watch this person who he looks up to and sees as a mentor completely lose himself in his darker ambitions is incredibly tragic. And to make a Batman comparison, I think that's where you get a villain like a Bane or a Two-Face, where it's like, this is a villain who like challenges Bruce directly because it's a battle of like wits, where you have like Green Goblin and Spider-Man and Batman and the Joker. The goal is to screw up the hero. The goal is to drive the other one insane. Like the Green Goblin, like he wants to hurt people and namely break Spider-Man's heart. And the same way the Joker wants to shatter Bruce Wayne's sanity. And again, Mitch, when you made that comparison, I was like, oh, there's so much to unpack here. But like the way that you compared Goblin to Joker and the way that the movie kind of like completely cashed in on what you said, I was completely blown away by. And Travis, like you said, the only thing keeping me from saying Otto is the fact that he spends the third act on Team Spider-Man. To answer the question that was posed here, how long do we think it will be until we see Miles in the MCU? Do we think we get him during or after the college trilogy? I'll kick to Travis and Lexi on this one and just go in the opposite order of the square.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got a Disney Plus show.
That is a cool idea.
if granted, we don't know how the contracts work or if they're even allowed to do that, but assuming that they they hold and the deal holds and they're allowed to do that, if given the option, that's a character I could see them, because trying to work him into the movies, I don't think
maybe he'll pop up at like the end or something like that, and then they'll take that into a show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that like you
As
can't
long as
develop
they
both
keep
of them
it
at once.
animated, Disney can do whatever they want with Spider-Man in animation. It just has to stay
over
under
a-
feature length.
Yeah, I was going to say it's under 48 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
It's the Spider-Man rights are weird. They're so fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even-
Because
I love how they're
ideally we
even
get a
weirder
Miles
than the
Morales
Hulk
show.
rights now. Hi, Connor.
Connor.
Oh, wow.
Connor?
I literally just got back from the theater from seeing it. So I just figured I'd pop in.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
I'm gonna pitch to Trey and Mitch on the Miles question, and then Connor will get Spidey thoughts from you real quick. Trey, Miles and when?
Yeah. So basically, I think the ending of this movie sets up Spider-Man in a way that it's going to become like a little bit of a blend between the Spider-Man PS4 game and Spider-Man 2. And like in that, I think something that would be powerful for me is on May's grave, the line on her tombstone says, I believe it's, if you help someone, you help everyone.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be really cool if Miles was inspired by May and he starts to work at Feast. And we get sort of that sort of thing with Miles, where he's not like a superhero yet, but we see him like doing things that are helping people. And he's like already getting his roots and becoming a superhero. So I think that would be cool, how to see Miles. And that is where I'm going to leave you guys. I gotta go here now. But Connor, I am looking forward to rewatching this and hearing your opinion of it. You said it was pretty good, I think, in our little group chat.
yep.
Trey, before you leave, pluggables, my friend.
I have a podcast called Skywalking Through the League. You can listen to it sometimes if you want to. We have a YouTube channel, and we're on basically everywhere. I think we're going to be doing a Spider-Man review, so that'll be cool. I know it's not Star Wars, but I do like talking some Spider-Man. So pretty much that. My Twitter is right down here under my face, my handle. Pretty much just that.
I tried to full screen you to show your handle.
Yeah,
and
it just
then
showed
I
my
realized
face.
the
It
banner
didn't
was
really
cutting
work
it off.
there. I know.
At the
Damn.
Treyinator.
Yeah.
Thanks for
That's
stopping
it.
by, buddy. Have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
See ya.
Of course.
Right.
Oh, that was so funny. It froze, and I thought Travis like yeeted himself off the chair.
That
No, I just needed a tissue. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I know. It froze, and I thought Travis ate shit, and I was like, "Oh no, is he okay?"
the share is very old. That is a possibility.
Because I know the layout of that room, and you could have easily smashed your face off of something the way you went off. Mitch, thoughts on Miles?
I would want nothing more than Miles to show up. I just don't know if they're gonna do it anytime soon. And that's purely down to them treating the first 3 Holland movies as an origin story or an origin trilogy. Looking back at it, he learns like 3 valuable lessons, and Spider-Man's origin is not really complete without that great responsibility quote. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's in another 3 movies, to be honest, if they ever do it. So obviously we have Uncle Aaron in here with Donald Glover, but
Yeah, the biggest problem is the time problem, where if they can't do a Disney Plus show, then they have to dedicate a movie to him, and if they don't want to dedicate a separate movie, then they have to try to develop Tom while developing Miles at the same time. Where like the games kind of pull that off because it's longer. B, you get the sections where you play as Miles, and then they were like, by the way, here's an offshoot game to develop him for the actual sequel, right? Like they had the ability to do that. They don't have that kind of time or space, unfortunately.
I think you risk sidekicking Miles.
Mhm.
And the PS4 game kind of fell into that with the first one, and then they're like, no, look, we're actually here's his own little mini game, not mini game, but you know what I mean, like shorter version of a game. Whereas the movies, as you said, the rights are so complicated, and you know, the public perception of this deal between these two studios is very rickety right now. Obviously, making as much money as this thing has right now is probably a little more solid, but it's, do Sony let Disney, because they'd have to just be like, okay, here, you can make this show for Miles on Disney Plus, because you already know they've sold off Silk to Amazon, which, can we get that back? Like, don't give it to Amazon.
That upsets me so much.
It does.
That like Silk is not going to get to tie in with like anything mainline Marvel.
Well, she could, but
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not going to hold my breath on it. No, but it's one of those, we never thought Spider-Man was going to be in this thing. We never thought we were going to get. We never thought you're going to have 3 of them in one movie.
Yeah, yeah, you got a point there. I can't argue with you on that.
Do I think it will happen? No. No. I don't even think that Silk show is happening, to be honest. We've heard nothing on that. But
yeah, that's
I keep
true.
forgetting it's a thing.
Bye.
So here's how like I would do Silk Miles. I think you have some type of contrivance, have Peter and Miles meet first. I think you can pull off what the game does, or like an approximation of it with Miles, where they get to know each other. I really like Travis's idea with Feast. I think setting up that like Miles has been working at Feast already pre-May's murder at the hands of the Green Goblin, and you kind of introduce that idea. I think that you can set up a new big bad. Like, you have to figure out a way for Miles to get bit by another spider. So I think you can also
which is
start
another
to set
problem,
up,
because Oscorp doesn't exist.
So I think another part of that Miles is also your excuse to even have to set up Oscorp. Or I don't know, maybe you skip Oscorp altogether and you just have Alchemax in the MCU.
I suppose it's all going to come down to that freshman year series for Peter they're doing on Disney Plus, because that's obviously the prequel to Homecoming. So we're going to see him get bit by that spider, find out who's actually made that spider. Because we
Point
don't
of
know.
order. Trey's idea, not mine.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
But I think if Miles does come in, he's not going to be Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah.
He's just literally going to be that supporting character at Feast. Because why else would you introduce that here? Or was
I
it
think
in the
you got to
previous
give
two movies?
Tom. This also depends on how much time skip we get between current Spider-Man and the next one. What's wrong, Travis and Lexi? This
Are we losing you?
You are a robot.
Yeah.
I see
You're
things are
frozen.
wild. It'll fix itself in a second here. I can see it working itself out.
It's just very hard to hear
Famous
you.
last words. No.
It'll work itself out.
Connor, tell us what you think about the movie until my internet stabilizes.
Okay. My thoughts are going to be super scrambled because like just so much happens in the last like 30 minutes
Yeah.
that I was just like, okay, wow.
That's why I need to see it again.
Yeah, I need to see it again, definitely. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. As someone who hasn't seen the Tobey Maguire movies in a while and who hasn't even seen the Andrew Garfield movies in just ever, I've only seen bits and pieces. Literally, the only 2 things I know about the
Same,
Garfield movies
actually.
are Gwen Stacy's death and the car scene. So, like, honestly, one of my top 5 scenes has to be when Andrew Garfield saves MJ. That got a tear out of me. I was like,
Yes,
oh,
that was my favorite. Mhm.
that was so good. And just most, if
Redemption.
not all, the scenes with William Dafoe. Just seeing him again as Green Goblin was just masterful. Just absolutely masterful. Yeah, I just need to see it again. I thought it was just pretty good. There were 2 lines I felt that were really, really, really forced. And those were the, I'm something of a scientist myself, and with great power comes with great responsibility. I was like, they feel so forced.
Oh, I disagree with you on
Yeah.
I'm something of a scientist myself. The movie came to a screeching halt for.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm okay with it.
I am okay with it as well. I laughed. I rolled my eyes and I laughed. All that was missing was like the lizard and his little magic cell just going ba-dum, literally was the only thing that was missing from that moment. But
I love
it. They were referencing the other movies, like the lines when they were referencing back.
So Octavius says the power of the sun in the palm of my hand about good 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, those didn't come off as forced because, like, I haven't seen the movies in forever, so it's like I didn't know that was a line from the movies. So
whenever he says it on the bridge during his first confrontation with Tom, I didn't need it. Him holding the arc reactor, and then having Toby finish the sentence for him.
Yep,
that was really good. We're like Otto kind of realizing, wow, like what I'm doing is possible. Like having his research, not everything he's doing to build the reactor, obviously be validated, but like the fact that he is onto something.
I'm really happy they didn't have him turn bad because me and my one sister were really worried that like when he came in and nabbed both I think it was Peter, I think it was Toby Spider-Man and Tom Spider-Man, like that he was going to turn bad. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Don't do this to me. And I'm just glad he didn't. So, and I think it was just really cool how the entire story was really just, I'm going to redeem these guys, basically. I just thought that was a really neat concept because, like, I just didn't know where they were going to go with it. I really thought that there was going to be a point where, like, Peter was going to have to let them all go and still go back to their predetermined fates in the previous movies. But no, it happened. I was really happy. I'm super sad that Tom Holland Spider-Man is forgotten by everybody. And so he has to reforge the friendship with Ned and MJ again, and I was just really sad. Also Ned is a sorcerer, super sick. I need more of that now.
If they do pull the trigger on doing Ned becomes the Hobgoblin,
damn it.
If they I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't even know you knew about the Hobgoblin theory. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was waiting to bring it up. That's what I was about to bring up, but that's okay.
What's the Hobgoblin theory?
Jared, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I underestimated you. I apologize.
Yes, you did. Always. Go ahead.
You're right. I'm sorry. Hobgoblin. So one of the many people to take up the Hobgoblin mantle in the comics is Ned Leeds. And people have been like theorizing since it was confirmed that Ned was going to be his best pal in these movies that it's only a matter of time until the best friend becomes a fucking goblin in this series of Spider-Man movies as well. Obviously, we've made it to the third movie and Ned has not become the Hobgoblin. Yet. I am not super married to the idea. I could go either way. I think in the hands of a competent writer and in the actor who plays Ned, whose name escapes me every time.
Jake is it Batalon or Balaton? It's something like that.
It's Balaton, I think.
I have no idea.
I will go with that pronunciation. I think he would I think he could carry it. I think that there was a lot of speculation that like right after they got done shooting this movie, he got in shape. Like he slimmed down, had a complete makeover and everything. So there's been speculation that he got in shape to become Hobgoblin. I don't know about all that, but since we see that he's like capable of like at least some layman's form of like the MCU sorcery.
That's the one, yeah.
Jake Batalon.
That it would be interesting that instead of using like the traditional green, like he's stealing Green Goblin's tech, which is how every Hobgoblin has done it basically, that he's a magic based Hobgoblin. I would like a magic and tech hybrid.
Oh, you say
But-
that. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but they leave a lot of stuff behind in this movie. Defoe's Smash Goblin mask is still in that alleyway. His glider's
think
on the
it got, like,
statue.
the only
I
thing
mean,
got
damage
taken away-
control's a thing in this, right? We see damage
Yeah.
control again.
Oh
Which
yeah, it
fun
was
fact-
also cool seeing Matt Murdock. I haven't even seen Daredevil. I'm so behind on the MCU basically. Okay, I'm not
Do yourself a
super behind, but like I kept hearing about it and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm happy for y'all that really know the character. And so when he showed up, I was like, oh cool. That's that guy. That's Matt Murdock, Daredevil. So I was really the two things I was spoiled on. Actually, no, three things. There was three things I was spoiled on. Actually, no, two, because like William Dafoe being in it, like, yeah, he's in it.
Yeah. Trailers did that for everybody.
I was spoiled on Garfield showing up and Aunt May's death.
Oh,
And like Aunt May's death,
Damn.
I kind of just like was like it just seemed like it was fake, so I didn't really believe it. But like the Andrew Garfield one was like straight up a screen cap on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, cool, it
Damn.
actually happens. So like seeing them back was really cool. I really like the banter between the Spider-Men. I just need more of that. I really hope that there's I would not mind even a limited series with the 3 Spider-Men.
I would
not
just
mind that
settle
at
for like YouTube shorts. Like that shit was just so funny. Toby's delivery is like the wholesomeness of like I'm still on you went to space. Was
Yeah.
that specific
My-
line delivery?
My favorite was that's great. What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
That was funny. Yeah. It's like, man, do they know? At first I was like, there's no way they know the Avengers. No, I haven't seen Daredevil. I'm such
haven't
a
either.
casual with Marvel.
I haven't seen the last season, but
I've
seen
not
season
But,
seen.
one.
like-
I knew the character,
We
so
should-
like I wasn't surprised when
we
I
should
saw
fix that.
him. See, yeah, that's what Jared was telling me too. So I wasn't
Yeah.
surprised when I saw what was his name, Matt Murdock. Is that his
Mhm.
name?
Matt
Yeah.
Murdock.
So like
So-
I knew who he was. I just didn't watch.
Yeah, for all
Daredevil.
watching this live stream, and if you haven't seen me before, yeah, I'm part of Knights of the Nerd Republic mainly. I'm like a Star Wars guy. Marvel's not really my big thing, so like that's why I'm super casual with it. I literally just caught up on Hawkeye like 2 hours before I saw stuff.
I'm still
Hawkeye
trying to
was
figure out.
phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm still trying to make up my mind as to whether or not I'm going to stay up until 3 years, set what I like to call my Disney Plus alarm.
It's a fair mood. What else? I'm just trying to think of other stuff. I don't know, just the performances I thought were really good. It was just really fun seeing all these actors back. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but to me at least, there was something off about Tobey Maguire. Just like how he looked.
he's
don't know.
old.
He's 46. Did you know that?
No, he's not that
Did
young.
not
He's
know that.
46.
Wow. Okay.
Andrew's
yeah,
38.
Mhm.
He's as old as my brother is.
I feel like there wasn't anything done with Andrew. He just looked the same.
Yeah.
So-
They-
Garfield's
'cause,
only 38.
Yep.
I keep forgetting he's British too.
Not that
so is Tom.
38 is old. Not that 38 is old in the grand scheme of things.
I tell my
but,
brother
like,
he's old.
That's
I
a
tell you, I'm old.
that's a good looking 38.
Yeah.
You could have
They
you
did the like de-aging thing on them.
They did
Yeah,
for
that's true.
they did for Defoe. I don't think they did for Toby, and I doubt
Toby has
they-
baby face.
And
They,
I-
they both.
I
They all
don't think
have
they
baby
even
face.
did that much for Defoe.
I
and
would say they didn't do it
Melina.
for any of them.
I only say that because I've seen so much of the behind the scenes pictures and shit, and none of them have the dots.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Which is like the
Millennial in
telltale
Spider-Man 2's
sign.
got really big eyebrows. Here he doesn't.
Yeah. He also miraculously got a shirt on, which I think is funny.
Yeah, but it's like a crop top turtleneck because it can't go over the waistband for the arms.
That's true. Unless he like took off the two coats, like had the turtleneck like over his head, and then like popped the arms through. But no, the harness still has to go over it.
Yeah.
Otto's wearing a crop top. Unless there's enough space between his stomach and the harness for him to like tuck the shirt into the harness. But again, I don't know how that would work.
She okay?
Yeah, she's fine.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of just other stuff I really liked. I mean, the fight scenes were cool. The fact that they all teamed up was just super cool. I was very surprised. And I asked, and I knew this wasn't going to happen because I had to ask a friend who saw it. I was very surprised they didn't go with the Spider-Man meme, but like apparently it happened in Spider-Verse, which I need to rewatch.
It's in the post credits for Spider-Verse.
Oh, what, the pointing one?
Yeah. But they still kind of do it.
They do. They absolutely
do because they're like doing a little bit of thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, who's Peter? Yeah, Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter,
That's so funny.
Great.
The other really funny part I found great was when Ned was like, Peter, and they all just look at Ned.
Yeah,
and it's just like he's just Parker? Like no, like Peter Parker, and they're just like, well, that's me.
That's all of us.
Yeah.
Do they all have the same middle name, or do they not have a middle name?
I would assume they're all Peter Benjamin Parker.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
well.
Yeah, it's just gonna. I thought it was really good. I'm probably gonna see it again with a friend, who's big into Spider-Man. Known him since middle school. Interested to see what they do with Multiverse of Madness. I'm really, 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 really interested in Dark Side Doctor Strange. Like that excites me. And like, okay, because I don't remember. Because I know Scott Derrickson was supposed to do this movie. Did he leave it mid-filming?
No, it was before they started, right before the pandemic. There was like creative differences. I think Derrickson still has a story credit and is executive producing still.
Yep.
But
so that's good.
That was the first time I accidentally no-scoped a story. It was like the first episode of the show. I went, you know who they should get from Multiverse of Madness? Sam Raimi. And then like a week later, it was like the breaking story. And I was like, chaos magic.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Sam Raimi does in his debut MCU film.
Yeah,
so.
Me too. So where do we think the future of this Spider-Man is headed? Because we have like one of the funniest things for me about the lead up to this movie has been Marvel Studios, Sony Pictures, and Tom Holland all saying conflicting things.
Mm-hmm.
Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios have both been like, we have another whole trilogy of Spider-Man MCU movies coming down the pipeline. And then every time one of those stories break and they say that to a trade, Tom Holland's next interview is him going, I think I'm going to take a break from acting. I don't want to be playing Spider-Man while I'm 50. And it's like it's always this weird back and forth. I don't know if Tom is like trying to like bend somebody's arm for like an RDJ contract. I don't know what he's. Oh, and he 100%. Deserves every goddamn penny of it.
Now, when the Russo brothers are like, oh yeah, he's the next Iron Man. It's like, yeah, he's the next. No.
Yeah.
He's going to be.
I definitely need to rewatch it because like I really wasn't focused on Tom Holland that much because I was just really focused on like what the big surprises were going to be. So I think seeing it again and like I see your display name, Jared, because like I've heard little to no people refer to him as like, I mean, other than like your usual like detractors.
Yeah.
refer to him as like Iron Boy Jr., but like I've seen, I think Trey said it, I think you said it on Twitter or just on social media in general.
Yeah,
Like he
making
really
fun
comes
of it.
into his own.
I think the Iron Boy Jr. critique of this version of Peter Parker is incredible. I think it is like the same thing as like saying that Luke, it's the same kind of weird complaints about Luke in The Last Jedi, where like you have to deliberately watch the movie incorrectly to have that takeaway, where it's like the whole point of Homecoming is him learning he doesn't need Tony and his tech. And Far From Home is him learning that he can be a hero that does not exist in like that he can be his own hero. And that the Iron Man mold is not what he needs. And then in this movie, it's learning you can't save everyone, but it's your responsibility to do everything you can to do so.
He's growing up.
He's growing up. I hate the Iron Boy Jr. complaint. I like, it's one of those, like, if you're throwing it around as a joke, fine, but unironically using that, leveling that complaint
it's disingenuous.
It's disingenuous.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, I'm convinced you didn't watch the fucking movie. I'm convinced you didn't like actually watch the movie. It's like I said, it's the same thing with like Last Jedi criticisms, where it's like, well, this didn't make any sense. It's like, I don't think you finished the movie, because the movie directly addresses that complaint head on, like practically looking down the barrel of the camera to do it in both the Spider-Man and Star Wars examples. So kind of like what I'm getting at with like the future of Tom's Tom's Spider-Man. I'm going to rephrase that. I think because of the post-credit scene and because Michelle is no longer on the board for him currently, I think we're going to work our way back to MJ. I think that's going to be beautiful when we do it. I think the next trilogy, we will see at least 2 movies of Tom and the symbiote. And I think over the course of that, we are finally going to get a live action version of Felicia Hardy Black Cat. I think that is absolutely, I think it is makes the most sense. I think that the big driving force behind these Spider-Man movies up to this point has been, we need to do something different. We can't have it revolve around Oscorp. We can't have we can't have a repeat of the villains until now, obviously, but the whole point was that they were repeat villains. And I think them trying to like keep blazing a new trail forward, I think that we're finally going to see like a slight rehash of the black suit story, but I think we're going to live in that place a little longer. And we're finally going to get to see Black Cat.
I'm excited for that. I really like Black Cat.
I have no idea what any of this is. I just need Peter back with Ned and MJ. That's all I want.
I look forward to getting there. I think, Connor, I think you'll like Black Cat. Think Catwoman, but like 1,000 times cooler.
And
I don't
in
know
some
Catwoman
cases,
that
kind of
well.
creepy.
In some cases, kind of creepy, but it depends on when stuff happens and where.
Like you're telling me it's Catwoman, but like I don't know Catwoman, so like it's like you're speaking Elvish. Right
It's
now.
it's a crazy cat lady.
Crazy
She's
cat
And
lady.
that's
literally
why-
a cat burglar.
That somewhat helps. Okay.
Mitch, what do you think is next for this version of Spider-Man?
I was absolutely with you on the Felicia Hardy bit for half of the week since I've seen this movie the first time. I honestly think they're gonna do Kitty Pryde. You go the ultimate route slightly. You bring in Kitty Pryde. She's the first X-Men you see. Maybe she's not got the powers just yet, but she's the new MJ. Because you're not doing Gwen. We've done Liz Allen. Betty Brant is somewhere completely different now. You bring in Kitty Pryde.
Betty Brant works
go-
for Alex Jones.
It's true, yeah. And Liz Allen sells out Peter Parker. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Fuck Liz Allen.
Yeah. What a bitch. So, yeah, I honestly think it's... If I was Sony, I'd be like, hey, you're wanting to do the X-Men. We're doing a new Spider-Man trilogy. Just put the Kitty Pryde in the Spider Pie and be done with it, make 5 billion or whatever it's going to do. Because everyone's going to rush to see this next one.
Oh yeah, I should watch Punisher.
You can't watch Punisher until at least you finish Daredevil season 2. I only say that because that's when Frank enters the picture. And Nick, to go with that, I think that's what our main villains are going to be. I absolutely do think we're going to see like a consolidation of the street level heroes taking on the Kingpin, and I think we might here's my like pie in the sky, and maybe this is just because coming off the heels of No Way Home, I really want to see more of Tom Holland do like angsty Spider-Man. I think you could do a really cool, in the same way that this was kind of like its own version of One More Day. You spread that into like this, like we'll call it the Kingpin trilogy. Like, let's say Fisk is the main villain of the new trilogy. Peter has the black suit. He's all full of like angst and rage because Felicia Hardy is always on both sides of those type of turf war conflicts. Let's say Felicia gets hurt and it's Kingpin's fault. You can do a recreation of that iconic scene from the comics when Peter pulls up to the prison Kingpin is in and does his whole, I'm going to whoop your ass now on principle for doing this, but if she dies, I will shoot web fluid down your throat and suffocate you from the inside out.
Oh, that just
to people who have not
me.
read that comic, that is actually the threat Peter levies at Kingpin.
Yeah.
That he will just straight down his throat. Like, not break his neck, not beat him to death with super strength. Like, kill him in the most gruesome way Peter can imagine.
That just reminded me. The one other moment in Spider-Man in No Way Home that I thought was really, really funny was like when Toby did his web shooter, and just both Andrew and Tom were just baffled at like
what?
You don't have like tech? It's like, no, I just kind of do it. And it's just like the whole back and forth.
Breathing.
Phenomenal. Yeah, it's just like breathing.
Just really quick along because I've been waiting. The Trust Your Tingle favorite. I love that.
Yeah.
I put that in my bio now. It's
Aww,
Your
that's
Tingle.
adorable. I've been trying to figure out because I've wanted a Spider-Man tattoo for forever, and Trust Your Tingle is like upon seeing this movie, because my rule has generally been like when it comes to comic book stuff, I don't want a tattoo from a movie, because like, you know, my favorite Batman has changed every time there's a new Batman actor. You know, like it went from Bale to Affleck, and I know it's going to be Robert Pattinson come March. So like, I don't want to get a specific version of their bat symbol, you know, because I don't want to be stuck to that. This is the first time a comic book movie has like, I want to get a tattoo from that movie. Like I want my inevitable Spider-Man tattoo to have something to do with Trust Your Tingle.
copier.
I know. I've been stuck. I mean, before it was trying to find some way to work in the great responsibility thing. If anything, it might just be like Spidey with the things over his head.
The things.
Which they do in this movie.
That was one of the coolest things. I got so excited for that. It's little things, man.
Wait, what part was that?
You know when the spider sense goes off and you get like the little lightning bolts, the weird squiggly lines like around his head in the comics.
When Strange astral projects Peter, and Peter's body's keeping the box away. If you look at Peter's spirit, he has the spider sense lines over his head.
But it's like insanely subtle.
Okay, I'll need to. Yeah, I did not pick up on that. I was just more like, how is Tom going to react to just having his soul out of his body, and he didn't disappoint.
I also, another thing that I loved about this movie that, again, like, you can't tell me that John Watt and Tom Holland don't get these characters. Like, one of my favorite things about Spider-Man is the way that he wins like insane matchups in the comics. Like, Spider-Man has beaten the Hulk in hand-to-hand because he's just clever, you know, and he's quick on his feet, and I love that. And in theory, I'm sticky and I'm super strong versus a goddamn wizard seems like a lopsided matchup. Peter wins anyway, and I love him. That's just such a great moment where he's able to beat Doctor Strange because he was determined to do it.
That was sick.
That's Spider-Man's real superpower. He's just aggressively determined to win. I love him so much. It makes my heart happy. But yeah, that's where I want to, going off of what Nick said, I want to see however many street level heroes you can work into that. Like, you'll have Black Cat, who's an anti-hero, Spider-Man, obviously, Daredevil, who knows how many of the Netflix characters we'll get. But I think that would be really
She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk, perhaps, yeah. Which I saw a very interesting leak about She-Hulk today, and I'm very curious to see if it ends up being true.
Just quickly, because you brought up about angsty Tom Holland being in the black suit. If they don't fundamentally change Tom Hardy's symbiote, would he still get angsty in that way? Because for all intents and purposes, the Venom movies have completely ejected that side of the symbiote, where they heighten emotions and all this other stuff.
I wouldn't go that far. I think that there is a certain level of that. I think Eddie has a mastery over the symbiote that we see him develop, but like you do see Eddie like lashing out. Like he has his moments where like when he gets a little hot under the collar, where he just like freaks out, and you can even hear Venom's voice while he's getting angry. So I think you can do it. I think introducing the symbiote, if you're not going to make it have consequences for Peter emotionally, don't bother bringing in the symbiote.
I mean, you can still do it without that, but you just do it completely differently to what you expect, which is what they're good at with these movies.
You're right. I struggle to see the point of the symbiote without it being a moral lesson, especially for this Peter. Like, now that we've seen him like truly become Spider-Man, put him in a situation where like he has to learn not to take the shortcut.
But he learned that in Far From Home.
And in this movie.
He definitely
and in this
learned
movie
it here.
There's also like and like granted, yes, he does here because like he powers through losing Aunt May, but like the reoccurring theme of like Peter not losing his hope in like humanity. And I think like the symbiote driving him to be more aggressive, again, putting him in a situation where he's like, I will kill you, Fisk. Like putting him in a situation like that could be interesting, where like, all of the power becomes too much responsibility and he realizes he can't manage the black suit. I think that would be an interesting way to go with it. I struggle to think of a version of the symbiote mattering to Peter where it doesn't make him question his morality by the end.
What if they reversed it? Where Peter's the one that affects the symbiote.
where the
symbiote
turns into the
completely different.
That would be interesting. I would be entertained by that.
I don't know
If that
jack
was a real
squat,
thing.
but like that would be cool.
Connor, I am so impressed by you just like being able to hang right now.
Like I know
Like,
just
this
very,
makes any
very
sense.
little about the
learning.
symbiote because of just Eddie Brock and Venom. Like I can kind of figure out like, okay, they're kind of, together and everything. It's kind of cool. They're kind of best buddies. And so like,
Or in love. I know some people like to say in love. I think that's funny as hell.
The second Venom movie says it.
Yeah.
I've heard. So like the fact that like seeing a symbiote for Peter and having Peter sort of control it, I think would be really cool. But like I've said my only one desire for him. So like anything else I'm kind of cool with. So
Well, if any patrons who aren't our friend Nick, because I know Nick already poked in to rub it in Mitch's face. I'm gonna
I still
is again.
can't get over that. I still can't. I
Wait,
don't
what
understand how
happened?
that sound comes out of a person. I saw that for the first time last night because Jared sent it to me just to like forewarn me. Okay.
I agree
Yeah.
with you.
That's
Anyway,
a fair train to
I
be
think
on.
the noise inside of him was his symbiote. I just want to say that right now.
I
It's a
think
little
that screech
scary.
is loud enough to hurt a symbiote. Like I think
Yeah.
I think it reaches the required decibel level to like make the symbiote fall off of somebody.
What was I gonna say? Did you ask us yet?
No, I was gonna I don't know what that comment means. Final thoughts on a letter grade. Connor, I'll start with you, buddy.
This is gonna change definitely, but right now I'd probably go B plus. Yeah, it was from like right as the movie ended. I was like, okay, this was a pretty good movie. I would say a B, but like the more and more I just kind of think about it, I'm like, yeah, no, we're bumping it up. So like right now it's a B plus. So like whenever I see it next, it might get jumped up into the A range, but I don't know. I don't know if anything's gonna top Infinity War for me because like just freaking love that movie so much. This might, I don't know.
All right, I respect it. I'm absolutely an Endgame over Infinity War person, which I guess is a hot take. I don't know why, but
I agree.
that's where I fall on that. So my ranking is absolutely affected by this movie. Mitch, this is your favorite part. Final thoughts and letter grade.
I'm gonna cop out and agree with Cinema Score and go A plus or whatever Cinema Score gave it.
Any final thoughts to accompany that?
Oh, what,
Oh, I
made
do.
the movie? Oh,
That is true. I also like this comment a lot. That's another question I did want to ask, and I kind of forgot because we got caught up in other conversations. Just generally, how do we feel about seeing like new versions of these characters show up in the MCU? Like, what if we get our own MCU Norman Osborn or Otto Octavius? Like, do we want that?
Ooh. I don't know, actually. Because, like, I'm not that attached to the Raimi movies, but, like, I loved seeing Otto and I'm just going to call him William Dafoe in No Way Home, like the original characters. So, like, I don't know. I'm cautiously open to it. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I think my problem with it still is, again, they're on such limited time. So
Yeah.
like, rather than devote more time in your limited amount of movies to characters that now we've seen with Tom Holland, go another direction, you know?
Well, I was going to
That's valid.
ask, like, since there's different versions of these characters, wouldn't that mean that there has to be
Yeah.
well, the
a
movie
different version of
addresses
them?
that. Because if there's no Oscorp in the MCU, then it stands that there's no Norman.
I mean,
Or
there still
just
could
Norman
be
hasn't
Norman.
started Oscorp yet.
Yeah, there
Like
still
that-
could be Norman Osborn, but like he's just kind of different.
You could absolutely in the MCU do a Norman Osborn who's basically Elon Musk, where he just kind of like charges
No.
onto the scene. I don't mean he's like a shitlord like Musk. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
hope
I mean in the
not.
way that like Elon Musk went from somebody who like was kind of obscure and somebody a lot like people mostly in tech knew about well to boom out of nowhere household name and has their fingers in all of these different pots in different industries. Like that's how you do like an Elon Musk style Norman Osborn. Where like he's not a household name yet. Oscorp is not a giant company that could in theory compete with Stark Industries. You could have it be that Stark Industries goes under because of what happened in this movie and Oscorp goes to take its place. Like there is a huge pathway to do the rise of like
Another one.
He's working for Stark Industries, but then he's like, maybe I'll go start my own. Up and coming.
I think I saw Nick somewhere in here even suggest it, and I think I put it in one of our group chats. Not that one. The whole idea of Harry Osborn played by Timothée Chalamet. And I love it. Matthew McConaughey is Norman Osborn. Matthew McConaughey is Norman.
Don't love that one.
You don't love that one.
I could never, in my mind, hear a line from Norman Osborn coming from Matthew McConaughey's mouth. And that's not a slight on Matthew McConaughey. There are just some actors who cannot do certain roles, and I think that's one of them.
Another one I like is Patrick Wilson. I think he would do a damn good Norman Osborn.
I can't see him as a goblin, though.
No,
you can't do, or even in like the Iron Patriot army, because you got to do something with Norman Osborn along those lines. I can't see him doing either of those. A good Norman, yeah. Everything else,
Yeah, I think again, like it's going to be hard to top Willem Dafoe. I don't like it, that. I think that's the biggest problem.
I don't think they're going to try. To be honest,
yeah, there's that's valid as well. Again, I'm just curious. I don't necessarily know how I feel on the matter either. I think you can coast on villains we haven't seen yet, but I also think that, in terms of world building, you could absolutely, again, there's a pathway to creating Oscorp.
I just find it very convenient that out of all of them, it's Osborn being like, oh yeah, my house has got someone else living in it. I'm not going to mention the name of my son. My company doesn't exist, and this and this. And it's like, it to me, it was implied that Norman's not in this universe, and he's not going to be, because we've just had this one.
That yeah. Whereas
people like Octavius, you can do Octavius again. It's going to be hard to do it again with Melina, obviously, but it's something you can do, because we got to get superior at some point. You got to go different with these movies, and why not do that?
Thank you, Mitch.
I'm forever on that wagon.
I'll send you the money later for
cheers.
For making it so I didn't have to be the one to bring up Superior Spider-Man. That was my joke review on Twitter. Was 0 out of 10. Doc Ock at no point used the word superior during a monologue.
Because out of all the stuff that gets left behind, half of one of the tentacles is there. Because he loses it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Whether that could be a scorpion tail, I don't like that idea particularly, but that's an idea.
Yeah, no, I don't like that being the scorpion. No, let Scorpion get his own shit. Again, maybe you just skip Oscorp and do Alchemax. Maybe that's the route they go.
Yeah.
That way you have an evil company to create the new Spider. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, cool. I just wanted an answer on that one. Travis, Lexi, final thoughts and letter grade.
A+. I think it is my favorite Marvel movie right now, because it changes, with everyone that comes out. I do think it's between this one and Endgame, but I really like this one a lot, and I've always really loved Spider-Man ever since I was a kid. So my favorite characters, are Wanda and Spidey. Oh gosh! So
look at you getting spoiled with this movie. Like, you get Spidey, and then you get the Multiverse of Madness.
I know.
That was a dope
I had
trailer.
a couple things in mind that I've been waiting on since we were talking way before. I'm trying to remember them because I was trying to wait for a moment to throw it in there. Hobgoblin. Back to that real quick.
Yes.
Do you think maybe this, because this is an honest question, like Hobgoblin would be like a multiverse thing, so there's like Ned and then also like a different version, like, if that makes sense? Like
Ned, like Ned Prime, and then an evil Ned that is the Hobgoblin.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Does that work?
That's interesting. I'm curious to see how much the multiverse factors in the future movies. if this is a rift that gets opened up again, and for whatever reason Peter's dealing with a multiversal threat again,
Because there's Doctor
I
Strange
think-
and then evil Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? So I was just
Yeah.
wondering maybe that would be a way they would do that. Because I don't want to see Ned be bad. But
I don't want to see Ned turn, and historically becoming the Hobgoblin is really bad for your health.
I figured.
There's not a lot of people that like walk away breathing from being the Hobgoblin.
It's weird. They all suddenly contracted kidney failure.
Going back to Superior Spider-Man, Otto kills one of them.
Yeah.
When he's Spider-Man, he murders. Which he didn't kill Ned, did he?
No,
isn't
it's
it
not Ned.
Phil Urich?
That's right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Uric guy. Yeah,
He's
it's
got the
Phil
sword,
Urich.
right? Is the sword
Yeah.
version of Hobgoblin? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, again, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, it's not the Ned Lee's version of Hobgoblin, but if you do like a magic and tech hybrid, where like the fire sword is not like a cool piece of technology, it's just like a magical sword made out of fucking fire.
Ned got really into Skyrim and then got really into being a bank robber.
I have a print in my room of Bernie Sanders wielding a flaming sword, and I didn't realize it was a Skyrim joke. I just got it because it was Bernie with a fire sword. But Lexi, other thoughts and questions?
I'm looking at my notes to see because I did make notes. Basically, just like the whole Andrew saving MJ. My favorite, the whole brotherly love thing. They had a little brother moment going on between all the Peters. I loved that.
So cute.
Quit down talking yourself. You're amazing. You're Spider-Man.
You're amazing.
I was the only person in the theater who he went, "You're amazing." I went, because I was like, and I'm like, I kind of like leaned over and I was looking around. I'm like, is nobody getting the joke?
I haven't even
Lots-
seen those movies, and that was really easy for me to pick up on. I was like, nice.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Sorry, we're competing. Sorry, we were competing with the Around the Galaxy stream. That wasn't intentional. I'm sorry.
Lots of crying, lots of cheering.
It was just back and forth the whole time.
Poor Happy.
Poor
Oh.
Happy.
Poor Happy.
Yeah,
Um,
man lost his only love, and now he lost Peter. It's like,
And his apartment.
yeah, in his apartment.
And Dummy. He lost Dummy.
Wait, Dummy got destroyed? What? When did I miss
Well,
Dummy?
I mean,
getting hit?
I assume they like confiscated all the Stark tech he had in there. Because there's a whole line of, there's missing Stark tech, and then you look in Happy's apartment, and it's all there.
See, I don't
just
think
assume
I don't
it's-
think Dummy counted as a Star Tech. I think the Fabricator did, but that got destroyed. I think Dummy was just like this
I mean,
belong
maybe.
because Dummy was like a personal like
But doesn't
This
it have
is
Stark
Tony's-
Industries plastered down the side of it?
it does, but Tony personally owned Dummy. It wasn't
just
like
feel
it
like
was
they
like
would
being
take
used in a
everything.
Stark. What?
I feel like they would take everything
Yeah.
though, just in case. You know.
It's not fair. It's all he has left. Some bullshit.
Um.
Fuck the feds.
But fun fact, actually, the damage control guy in this was supposed to be the lead in a damage control show on ABC.
I thought cool. I thought there was a connection here to that damage control show that never went anywhere. That's cool.
So Andrew's not the only one getting a redemption arc. He's as well.
The movie's all about second chances.
Did MJ fake not getting accepted? Did she actually get accepted, or did they
Ooh.
actually? That was another question I had, because it kind
I-
of seemed like I don't know.
It was one of those moments where it was primed for one of them to actually get in,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was expecting it to like be Ned.
I
See,
thought it was
they
going to
hung
be
on him
Ned
the
too.
longest.
Oh, maybe Ned. Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I thought so too, and the only reason now I don't think as much is because I feel like it would have come up
Mm-hmm.
later. Like he would have
Yeah.
gotten to what the vice whatever that he talked to on the bridge, and she would have been like, Michelle Jones got in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what are
yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
that
but
makes sense.
but like it still could have happened. But
I don't know. That was what I had in my notes. Does everybody refer to that black suit, the inside out suit, or was that just a thing Billy said? Is that an actual thing?
I think that is an actual thing. Just they don't really address it. When the black and gold suit he wears is just his regular suit worn
inside out.
Yeah, because he's got all
Yeah.
the green paint over it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's like all the exposed wires. The technical name, like the official name for it, I've been seeing people just calling it like upgraded suit Mark II. That might have just been because they didn't want to like spoil in the marketing what the suit actually was.
Because we
But-
didn't
I thought
know
it was just
until
called
Billy
black
said
and gold.
something.
Yeah,
It's like, because the Hot
Yeah.
Toys is called black and gold.
I think it
It's
is on the
called black and
Funko
gold.
Pop too.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure what they were trying to pass it off as, because I know like the black and red suit is just called the upgraded suit.
And then you got
So-
integrated for when he gets the gold spider.
Oh my god, that suit is so beautiful. I cannot wait to play the game again just so I can do the whole playthrough in the integrated suit.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful suit.
It's
Again-
the best looking Iron Spider we've had. And
Yeah.
I'm glad it's gone. Personally.
Hey, and we also got, hey, Mitch, you and I got Iron Octavius. How about that?
It's true. Yeah. I did not see the whole control thing coming. I don't know why I
No,
never thought
that
he was
was
going to do
cool.
that.
Mitch, because I want to watch you make Lexi cry real quick.
Oh.
Tell her
Don't-
the
don't
version
make
of
me
what
do
you
that.
thought was going to happen with the nanobots from the
What
prediction cast. If you
Oh,
remember,
what? Where he's going to have like Ark would give it up and he'd lose the inhibitor chip.
yeah,
Because I thought the nanobots were going to fix the chip when he got him on his arms, and then he's going to have to give the little nanobots he has left up. And in doing that, the chip goes again. That's how I
Well.
thought it was going to go. And I
I'm
apologize.
gonna go now. Peace.
I totally forgot about that, Jared. Thanks for that one.
Oh my god, I got so scared whenever he was like giving him the nanobots back. I was like, oh my god, thank God Mitch was wrong. I wouldn't have been able to handle that.
Wait, what scene?
So Mitch was saying that like in the trailer, how there's the moment where we saw in the trailer and we see in the movie that whenever Otto's beating up Peter on the bridge, that like he like absorbs the Iron Man nanobots onto the
Oh,
tentacles.
he does in the trailer? Because I had no clue.
Yeah, there's a shot in the
Hmm.
trailer of like the arms turning red with the Iron Man stuff. Sony gives everything away in the trailer.
I
Yeah,
did
'cause
not
they
know
showed the
this.
ending today, I think.
This
in
was
the trailer.
legit.
Yeah, that's what
Legitimately
Nick said in the
surprised.
Please
chat.
comment.
I think that was Nick. Yeah.
So Mitch's theory, Connor, was that whenever the Iron Spider nanobots got onto Otto's arms, that it would like automatically repair the inhibitor chip, and then it would turn Otto good again. Otto would have the iron tentacles, and then whatever bullshit happens, and Otto's like, "Hey, your only chance here is if you have like your most powerful suit. But when I give you the suit, I'm going to try to kill you again." And it's like, so please whoop my ass and stop me from hurting you, but this is the best chance you have. And then Otto would like sacrifice himself and sacrifice his, like his humanity and his autonomy so that Peter would be able to take on the villains better. And like I said, I would not have handled that well if that is what had come to pass.
Okay. I forget. He's not able to take those. He's not able to get those disconnected, right?
Nope.
Okay. I
That
figured
is
as much, but
I mean, the only time we've seen someone try is when he's not in control. There's
Yeah.
never been a real attempt at it.
I mean,
Okay.
like he can like collapse them. Like he doesn't always have to be walking around with like 4 giant metal arms. Like they can retract like basically flush against the harness.
so like
it-
Hawkeye's almost.
Kinda.
Okay.
Kinda where it can just kind of like into the harness, but like there, I don't. at least this version of Otto, I don't think there's any getting the tentacles off of him. I think it's like permanently.
Okay, no, I
grafted
just
into his
I just
spine.
thought I just didn't know if that was like a thing that could happen like at all.
No, I think it depends on the version and like how connected to him the tentacles are. This version they're basically like 4 extra limbs that he's stuck with for life. But yeah, Travis.
Well,
I
it's
think
3.5
That's
now,
it for
actually.
me.
Yeah.
Other than just like I really need to see it again. We all
Yeah,
need to
we
see
do.
it again.
Yep.
And I liked seeing the dark side of Tom's Peter.
Oh yeah, when he
Loss of
almost like
innocence.
when he went batshit against William Dafoe, I was just like, oh man, this is nice, but also I'm horrified.
Again, that was the whole last conversation I had with Alexis. Like the next day, where I told her, I was like, I am so like both of their fights are the highlights of the movie for me. And the like again, watching the Green Goblin just be the green goddamn goblin all over that hallway. And then later with the, too weak to send me to die. I wanted to kill you myself. Like they're like, oh, it's that kind of Spider-Man story now. Okay.
Jamie Foxx said it was personal. He weren't lying.
Yeah, he did. Jamie Foxx was not lying. Also, shouts out Jamie Foxx. He was really funny in this movie.
He was just Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx. He wasn't Electro. He was just Jamie Foxx.
Which
He
made it
deserved to
work.
have that kind of leeway, though. Honestly,
Yeah.
True, 100%.
The Black Spider-Man conversation was so funny.
One of
Yes,
the big, just,
oh
rest in peace, Aunt May.
yeah,
you,
R.I.P.
bitch.
Aunt
I
May.
knew
that
it
was-
needed to happen. It needed to happen, and I love
I'm
Jared,
so
what did
mad
you
I got
just say?
spoiled on
impact,
it.
but also
Travis, say your
Sure.
thoughts on the movie before I start crying about Aunt May again.
you don't want me to make it worse.
make it worse.
Don't make it worse.
Defoe made Holland watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Just sorry, but Peter looking at Happy and them just like
The fact that they don't do the like classic movie, her eyes shut, like she dies with her eyes open.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
She
It's
like
so
there
brutal.
there's no reason for any of them to be acting as hard as they are, and for some reason, like that, everyone decided this was going to be the best one.
Stop.
Like
No, what were you saying, Travis? I'm sorry.
just everything about that scene. This movie could have just been, look, everyone's here. We did it. We listened to Reddit. And instead, everyone they I think that might have been like the intended plan, and then everyone got there and they were like, no, we're gonna
do this thing.
we're gonna like you have a script, and John Watt's like, well, yeah, I had this, and the screenwriters were like, yeah, we had this really cool story, and we're hoping you guys like it, and they're like, oh, we're gonna act the shit out of this. Like,
It's
you
not
don't
just
have
going to
to
be
pay
a
us.
ridiculous member berry pie.
and
Yeah,
like
they did
that's
the references super well, I thought.
the fact that why does my it didn't that time my volume on my computer keeps going down randomly.
I didn't even touch my earbud.
No, because it didn't go down that time. I think Hunter just was quiet for some reason. But like the prime example for me is Toby and Otto talking after like their exchange on the Statue of Liberty, as like they could have had the moment be them recreating the clock tower fight or some like them reciting scenes from Spider-Man 2, and instead it's just like that genuine exchange between these two people that like we know have known each other. Like the only real like, hey internet, remember, is the Willem Dafoe line, the I'm something of a scientist myself, which was hilarious, and I will never concede on that point. It floored me. I thought it was so funny. But between that and like Garfield catching MJ and that being a moment for him and his exchange with Electro, like there was just never a moment where it felt like they were like, oh, we're just gonna ham up the fact that they're prior characters. Like, no, they're gonna have exchanges like they would at this point as characters. Just made it feel so much better.
Is Connor actually crying?
Oh, yeah.
Buddy.
God. Oh no. Redeemed. She, he, all of them redeemed.
I haven't
Connor,
even seen that
I'm
movie.
about to haul ass to Philadelphia to hug you. Oh my god.
Oh, I haven't even seen Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and that's the only scene I know, and I'm still like devastated
Beautiful.
happily, but like
And like Tom's acting is insane. Specifically after Aunt May dies, and he's on the roof by himself, and he's kind of curled up, and you can tell he's been crying.
He was crying.
But he was like the fact that he was kind of stable until MJ and Ned showed up, and immediately broke back down again. Like, it's so good. It's so good, and
the other two just talking to him and like talking him down a little bit, trying to help him.
Mhm.
He's like, "You guys don't understand," and they're like, "Want to bet?"
But I love the way that they don't like confront him on that though. Like the way that they're like
They let him
like,
feel, and they were just kind of continuing to share their experience regardless, but also letting him
let him have his moment.
express his feelings.
And just like the idea that these movies did everything backwards and it worked, right? Because normally, like, you get Iron Man where he's by himself, and then Iron Man 2 where he interacts with a couple more characters, and then we get Avengers, and now everyone's together, right? They just threw Spider-Man headfirst into a team up. And then he got a movie by himself where he's still interacting with these characters, and then he got to do the big superhero thing in space. And then he transitions into the hyper-personalized superhero thing. That is so good. So good. My A's incredible because I give everything A's. So whatever's above A. Like it's an S. It is like on the tiers, it is
S
not even there.
For superior.
It's just like
it will happen one day. It will happen
one day.
The fact that this movie made me like get emotional about Spider-Man, that's incredible. That's actually really incredible.
It's amazing.
It's spectacular.
It's friendly and in your neighborhood. Wait.
You guys have the same time. You guys have
it's because I'm just the Mitch variant, guys. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Now I just need to wait for the home release so I can turn the brightness up on the last fight. That was like my only complaint was the last fight was a little too dark, like shot composition wise, like because it's at night and the only time you could see things is when Electro was firing off shots until like midway through the fight and the lights started to actually work, I guess.
Because the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which how long was that fight? Like they either started that like midnight, or it went on for 10 minutes.
It went on for like 6-7 hours or something. Maybe even 3, I would say. Like if we're talking like,
or the fight starts at like 5:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of the two. Like either like the fight goes on way longer than we're meant to believe it does, or they start brawling. I mean, that would make sense with how much time. Like
they work exactly on the tiers. They make the call, and then like early into the morning, late into the night, that territory, right, is when they all show up.
4:38.
Exactly.
Where are the Marvel like location cards when you need them? It's like Statue of Liberty, 4:48 in the morning.
Yeah.
I've
only reacted to a movie like this in Endgame, right? And I've talked about it that like I get emotional watching the Avengers Assemble scene in Endgame because I'm like, we got here. We did this. That like that meta narrative kind of, and just it's that on steroids for an hour at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
where it's like we got to see Tom Holland's Peter Parker be his own Peter Parker. Not that I think he hasn't been, but just that transition.
Truly set himself apart.
He's the MCU Spider-Man to just he's Spider-Man. Right?
You put that very well. Yeah, I agree with that.
I have to admit it was not mine. I think it was a YouTube comment I read somewhere. I don't remember who commented it. I have to be honest. But that transition, along with, again, they did not fudge any of the nostalgia bait. Like, at no point was I like, this is just here to spice me up. Like, it all just felt so genuine, and that everyone was enjoying themselves and just loving being in this story. So
it was the perfect amount of campiness. Too.
Yeah,
it's just very nice.
I agree on that. I think that I saw a prominent Star Wars content creator Rexing Around on YouTube today was talking about referencing Spider-Man No Way Home and talking about we can have all of the conversations about fan service all day long and like how much is too much, right? And this movie shows that you can strike a balance between telling a challenging, meaningful story with a little bit of a member-berry pie. It's like
struck that balance well.
Like it's a meaningful story that challenges you as a watcher, reader, viewer, whatever, that you get to wash down with like a member-berry smoothie. It's not like a whole pie you're just shoving in your face. It's like you're just sipping on it. It's like, oh, hey, Doc Ock. Oh, hey, Electro. I'm something of a scientist myself. We were addressing how ridiculous the plot of Amazing Spider-Man is. We he wanted to turn the city into lizards. We're addressing how insane some of this stuff is. It struck the balance in a way that I didn't think was possible. That was my biggest fear coming into this. Like I've said 1,000 times.
We kind of talked about it. I've talked about it with other people that before seeing the movie, I was like, if my greatest fear is this is the Rise of Skywalker, where again, it feels like at the end credit, it's going to say written and directed by Reddit.com.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the problem with that versus this is because we know now, Duel of the Fates had a screenplay and concept art and it was in development before it got canned, that they last minute went, what are things people are saying online they want to see? Slapped that into a script, filmed it, and sent it to the theater, right?
I mean, we don't really know that for sure, but
it's what it feels like.
Yeah.
With the information.
Again, the other big thing is that carried. Yeah.
Yes,
probably.
That by comparison,
the fact that it should have been.
Thank you, Rob.
The internet exploded
until it gets destroyed.
Yeah. So the internet exploded when Spider-Verse came out into imagine a movie where we got Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire. And all of us went, yeah, that'd be really cool. There's no way in hell that'll ever happen. And I think as soon as that became a thing, I think they gave Spider a reason for him to want to be alone instead of him just being one and people not knowing why. Yeah, everything's done so well. That I think from the moment that became a hey, what if we did this? Because Marvel's really I've criticized them for it before, where if something succeeds.
I'm not trying to distract you, Travis. I'm sorry.
I apologize, Rob. But
you guys were in perfect sync.
The
dyad in the wolf.
Marvel's very good about when something succeeds, they like to plaster it everywhere, right? Guardians of the Galaxy succeeds. We get 4 running Guardian stories in the comics. I would not be surprised if the Kingpin now becomes the villain of further Spider-Man stories, because we've seen he did well in the game, right? And he's exploding on Hawkeye, right? So for him to suddenly go, oh, we're just going to put him in stuff in street level stuff now because people want to see him. That just makes sense. I think they looked at Spider-Verse at least critically, doing as well as it did. And then the internet also going, what if we did this? And I think they kind of did the thing in the boardroom where they went, could we do that? Is that? I still have to, hold on. Toby? Hey, hear me out. What if? And like they did that for everybody. And everyone was like, yeah, I want to do that. You know, and so having the idea from the beginning, being able to foster it as its own idea, not just, well, Reddit and Facebook groups say they wanted it.
Everybody just thought it was.
Yeah. And every review I've seen says the same thing. Could you imagine the world where they somehow managed to keep this a secret? Like,
no, there's one consistent in the multiverse and omniverse and whatever kind of verse, and this movie leaks in every single one of them.
It's the spotting of Alfred Molina in Georgia. Yeah, I think that's the thing.
No, it's Jamie Foxx fucking posting it when he got announced.
Yeah. Straight off the bat, we knew. No.
It wasn't even an official press release. It was either Deadline or Hollywood Reporter had an exclusive that Jamie Foxx was coming back as Electro. That was the first thing we found out. Now, we're also see that J.K. Simmons is back as J. Jonah Jameson. So maybe they're going, hey, this version of Max Dillon also looks like Jamie Foxx. The Hollywood Reporter or Deadline article, whichever it was, is out for like an hour. Jamie Foxx immediately posts like fan art of all three Spider-Men standing together. And then the next slide on Instagram is a lightning bolt. He said, I'm not blue anymore, and I'm coming to squash some spiders. And it was up for like 15 minutes, and then he clearly got screamed at and deleted it. Like that is the instigating moment. It is nothing to do with Molina. It is Jamie Foxx being way too excited to come back.
For me, it was Molina.
Oh, okay.
For me, when Jamie Foxx, even after that, I was still on the like, it's probably just like they're reusing him and giving him a second shot because he does deserve that. Like, and I don't think I saw the Instagram post or like the versions that we talked about didn't have, because I think he got to repost it with just the lightning bolt.
I think you're right. He did make a post. He's like, I'm not blue anymore. That was it.
So, like, that had me like, oh, they're just giving him a second shot. That's cool. And then they were like, Alfred Molina sighted in Georgia. Well,
oh my God. Oh, then don't forget, he got interviewed for some movie he was at on a red carpet. And like, they were like, hey, Alfred, are you in the new Spider-Man movie? And Alfred Molina was like, I love playing Dr. Octopus. Go back. Like,
this movie made Kevin Feige numb.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Feige has an alcohol problem now. Like, you can't convince me that man does not like Spider-Man 3 style, like Harry Osborn. Like, the second the smallest inconvenience, he just has a giant flask of whiskey. Like, you cannot.
Oh, speaking of the old Osborns, did you notice the one sound effect in this movie?
What?
In the Doctor Strange Spider-Man fight, Strange hits Spider-Man with a train, and it makes that Harry Osborn. Ping! No.
I'm going back to rewatch it. Like,
honestly, go back and watch it. It is the exact same noise.
Oh my God.
That makes me so happy.
It's awesome.
I didn't notice it, and I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad you needed to tell me, Mitch. Best part of Spider-Man 3, for anybody who has not heard me say it yet, every time Harry gets hit in the head, there's a cartoon sound effect that accompanies it. And it gets funnier every time when you listen for it. Oh,
so bad.
My heart is
full
full right now.
Really quick, have you guys seen the TikTok after the big Daredevil leak a couple months ago?
The Campia one?
Yeah, the Campia one. Someone
What was
made
the
a
Campia leak?
It was
the
Daredevil.
Campia leak was there were two. There was the wide shot of Matt Murdock sitting at the table with May, Peter, and Happy.
Oh.
And then there was another one of the three Spider-Men standing side by side.
So that leak happened, and it's like it's Kevin Feige. I forget which Sony exec, and then
Probably Pascal.
yeah, you let Daredevil leak, and he's choking him out, and he goes, We got it under control. What do you mean you have it under control? Tom's doing damage control. You put Tom on damage control?
I mean, God bless Holland. He tried. He tried with this movie.
Did he not spoil anything?
No,
That's how they-
he just bold-faced lied to everyone at every turn.
That's
That
how
was
they.
Michael.
That was Tom Holland's mission. They were like, okay, well, this movie can't stop hemorrhaging leaks every 2 weeks. Tom, just say you're done playing Spider-Man. Maybe that
That
will.
was the other thing. Wasn't there something recently about him wanting to like stop because of family? Like he wanted to have
Yeah, he's
start a
not sure if he
family.
wants to be an actor. He wants a family. He wants this. He wants more money, which is the real reason we all know.
And then there was rumors of them being engaged. Zendaya and
I haven't seen that.
I have
I
not seen
have.
that either. Oh my
I
God.
have.
I saw
There's
Pascal
rumors.
going like, I warned them all not to do it, but they don't listen to me. It's just like,
Yep.
okay, Amy.
So I saw something about that. About the engagement stuff. So I have no idea what's true and what's
Anyway,
not.
Jared, what did you?
Oh my God, that just occurred to me. That's Sean.
Yeah.
His icons are your icons are different on everything. And Sean, I just want you to know the only reason I didn't directly invite you on is I didn't know what you are and aren't allowed to say about this movie at this point. I didn't want to have you on a live stream where like every 30 seconds is going to be like, yeah, well, you know, I didn't want to put you in the hot seat like that. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's so funny. I'm sure Sean's laughing his ass off. None of us know anything. He knows everything.
He's been laughing at me for the last week, so that's all right.
Oh, also, just round of applause for Sean for being a part of the machine that got Kingpin on Hawkeye and Daredevil and Spider-Man.
We don't deserve you.
Life debt.
I'm missing something here.
Life debt. I'll debrief you later, Connor.
Okay.
Connor was gonna say something.
Yes.
No, I was just saying, Jared, what you think? Letter grade thoughts.
Final thought, just like working things we didn't get a chance to talk about. Going off of how MCU time travel works, I really badly in like a comic. Again, like that's my thing with the Snyderverse. That is my thing with any type of make whatever happen. Just give me a sequel comic. Buffy / Angel, that shit. I'll just read a comic about it. I want to see a comic about the new timelines that were created here.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You know,
I need to see something.
like
Because
because you didn't Toby and Andrew's timelines never get changed. They're sent back to wherever they were taken from, and they get the closure of knowing they helped their villains. And then another reality gets to exist where Norman Osborn, depending on when he got pulled out of, like maybe he just spends the rest of his life in a goddamn prison. Maybe he's given some type of clemency because it's like, oh shit, he was not in control of this. The Green Goblin was. It's two different people. They did that with Eddie Brock in the comics where like he finally was no longer bonded to Venom. And they were like, Eddie Brock didn't do this. Venom did. It's not fair. You could do the same thing with Otto, where like Norman Osborn and Otto Octavius get to help their respective timelines. Their brilliance gets to help save the world. Max Dillon might become a hero. Like maybe this was the kick in the ass Max needed to be like Electro, who's a superhero now. Maybe Kirk Connors will stop trying to turn New York City into lizards. Probably not. But
isn't that just an aspiration we all have, though?
We were all already lizards.
Don't let them know we're paid by Disney. Or the Disney lizard shills. Like there's this, Sandman just gets to be with his daughter now,
That
There's
was the other one. Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot to say that. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome. It's just there's a beauty here that like I do truly want to see what Norman and Flint and Otto and Kurt and Max all do with their second chances. Like there's a beauty to that. Like we could see Otto become a freaking superhero. Like I want a comic about that. I truly want a sequel comic.
Isn't that superior?
Technically,
Stop teasing me, Mitch. Technically, yeah, if his version of Otto like starts wearing a Spider-Man suit.
But on this whole point, do we think that's what this Electro movie Sony has announced or someone's leaked is going to be about?
Oh, good God, I hope it never comes to pass. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to accidentally will it into existence.
Because it can't be the same one, right? Because he hasn't got the electricity anymore.
Well, I don't think it's that he doesn't have the electricity. I think he has like a reverse arc reactor.
Yeah, but that thing comes off.
The thing that they put on him dispels all the excess electricity in his body. He doesn't have powers anymore.
Oh, so he's like completely depowered.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's Jamie Foxx doing the Electro movie.
They took his batteries out.
Yeah, basically.
What did you retract, Sean? What message did you get rid of? Hold on. What did you say? You don't get to tease me like that. Okay, never mind. It was nothing interesting. Nothing that was like the cool things that you know, Sean. Anyway. No, I love this movie. It was everything I ever could have wanted. I love Spider-Man. You know, I have my joke. You know, it's a joke that goes all the way back to the Do-Back days, that when you ask me who my favorite characters in fiction are, it's made very clear that I have a type. You know, that it's your Darth Vaders and Kylo Rens and Batmans and Vegetas and Bakugos, and somewhere in the middle of all of that is fucking Spider-Man, where it's just this like sweetheart, wholesome character who has that like pinch of darkness in him. But the draw to him is not that darkness. It's not that when the moments where he can be broody, it is that constant choice to do better, to do everything in your power to help everybody around you as best you can. And I don't think a Spider-Man movie has ever driven home what it means to be Spider-Man as well as this movie, save maybe for Spider-Verse. And the fact that this movie's only real competition for the top Spider-Man movie is Into the Goddamn Spider-Verse is saying something. Like, just like the box office, the only competition this movie has realistically at this point is Avengers Endgame and technically Avatar. That is its only competition financially at this point. There's no way this movie doesn't cross $1 billion. Terms of like,
there's a couple of factors in that. But
no, Omicron could absolutely pull the plug on the box office, but the way that it's tracking right now,
I'd say if it follows pre-pandemic rules, it should make roughly around the same as Infinity War.
Yeah. But like I said, financially, it's hanging out with the top dogs. And in terms of its character and story, its only competition is Spider-Verse. You know, I think that this is my favorite Spider-Man movie. And I think this is my favorite comic book movie ever. Like, I talk about finale bias. I love Endgame. Endgame is a comic book come to life. And you could have convinced me that this movie was written by Dan Slott if I didn't watch the credits. In terms of like how well this is in terms of Spider-Man writing, and that it feels like a Spider-Man comic. It feels like a Dan Slott. It feels like a Dan Slott joint. You know, it feels like the OG Spider-Man comic storyline with that, like, we all get it. We've all lived the Uncle Bens and the Gwen Stacys and being possessed by Venom and losing here and losing there, but we keep getting up and we keep doing the right thing. Yes, Nick is correct. Omicron is the sixth member of the Sinister Six. This movie's incredible. Bless you.
Bless you.
A
Thanks.
A plus 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 S plus. It is the superior, Spider-Man movie. Even if it doesn't have superior
Satisfied
Spider-Man.
a lot
in
of
it.
itches without being like too.
Yeah,
This is what we're doing.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could do this kind of movie that subtly.
No.
I didn't think you could do this movie and it still be have any type of not over the headedness, you know. That again, I keep coming back to the member berry pie, and like I keep making the joke about like like the only thing that is like member is like I'm something of a scientist myself, but that's played for a laugh.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like they're trying to like it's not like they're like the discourse on Star Wars Twitter like a week or two ago about like would it be bad if Obi-Wan says hello there in Kenobi? Like how much would that take you out of the story for them to like address a meme directly? You know what I mean?
If it's treated like this movie where it's fan service that remembers there's supposed to be a plot, as opposed to fan service that forgets there's supposed to be a plot, then hello there can work.
Exactly. I don't know how easily this hybrid of fan service and challenging storytelling can be struck, but I want to see more of it. I think No Way Home has. Who was going to tell me that I had a typo in the title of this live stream?
Where?
Was anybody going to tell me that it says Now Way Home review? Was anybody going to say it?
I don't see that, so no. I'm
Where?
all responsibility.
On YouTube.
I'm
Show me.
yeah, I'm not part of this. So
My
Yeah.
face is turning red.
Now way home.
Show me.
Ah. I'm going to have to
Kevin
fix that
Bacon.
here.
What the heck? Sorry for our dumbness. I guess.
No, I'm making fun of myself. I'm
making fun of all of us.
Nick's like, I'm just now noticing it. I love how everybody didn't notice it until right now, until I pointed it out.
Did you title this stream with voice to text by any chance?
Maybe. You'd think I did.
Right. At least it wasn't like something
At least
terrible.
you didn't put far from home. Like at least you didn't do the thing.
Homecoming.
Yeah. Like
where I keep using the titles interchangeably. But yeah, this was incredible. I'm glad it came out when it did because I would have hated to be the director or star of the movie that has to follow this. So
You would hate to be Keanu Reeves? 'Cause he's
Yeah.
following this right now.
I meant in terms of like the MCU.
Yeah, but it's funny for the Matrix.
Godspeed, Matrix, and Kingsman. Good luck, you guys. Things are not looking good for y'all. You know what does follow this movie in terms of Marvel, though? Morbius.
Who?
that does not look that good.
Oh, Morbius looks so bad. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm
Make-
so excited.
Horrible. Just like
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto being Morbius, I was like, okay, I can get with this, but like the second it cut to like the actual Morbius, I was like, yeah, nah.
It feels
But that's
like
a conversation for another time, Jared. We're not doing this.
I know. Morbius doesn't come out for another month.
It comes out
Oh,
now.
it's getting delayed.
You think
That'll
so?
get yeah.
I can't emotionally handle that right now. Please don't.
Yeah, Nick just said it looks like tickets for Morbius are going on sale soon, so I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, tickets for No Way Home were on sale in Europe, and the day before the premiere, it got delayed
Really?
by a whole month. Yeah.
For what? No Way Home?
Yeah.
Where'd it get delayed?
I think somewhere in the Netherlands.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure. It's one of those that side of the continent.
Okay.
countries.
I got very confused. I was like, what part of Europe didn't get No Way Home?
Apparently they think it's going to make more money next month, but the way things are going over here, ain't making nothing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. That said, Mitch, thank you so much for joining us. Where can all
thanks for
the
having
people
me.
find you and all that you do, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at Mitch692. You can find me weekly on the Current Bookcast YouTube channel. Just Google it because I cannot remember the URL. And that's Myth.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Like the joke I make every time Mitch and Armin and Sean are on. If you're watching if you're watching us and not Comic Book Cast, you're making a mistake because I just do what Comic Book Cast does, but way worse. So go watch them because I completely grifted their whole thing. Connor, where can the lovely people find you, old friend?
Twitter
boy.
at Banana. I talk Star Wars. I don't really talk Marvel. But Marvel's still cool. Just with the cultural impact of Marvel, I can definitely appreciate. Where else? sweditorIG.com. I write articles. I also write stories. We have a whole fan fiction universe already released and set up. We have a lot of stuff planned. I have 2 stories coming out in August. Fun fact, they're done.
Hell yeah.
We gotta wait till August. They're not they're short stories. They're not novel length, but for all intents and purposes, they're done. So yeah, if you want some really good high quality Star Wars fan stories, go check it out. Yep. And go see No Way Home again.
Yes.
And again.
And again.
And again. Travis and Lexi, whichever one of you guys would like to go first and know where we can find you.
Go ahead. Yours is easier.
Okay. At Travis Political on Twitter and Instagram, where I will continue to complain about my sore arm after my my booster shot.
Hey.
I'm mostly just using it for 2 free days off of work for a Christmas vacation.
Smart.
Yeah.
Me? Okay. So Instagram at acapella98 and Twitter at LexiLion98, where I'm having existential crises about how I just graduated from undergrad, and I'm going to be 23 in 3 days. So
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God.
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I wanted to call attention to that at one point is to, yes, congratulate our freshly graduated Alexis Capel.
Thank you.
Of course. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Nick Johnson, your friendly neighbor. Jesus Christ, Paco, you son of a bitch. You stop laughing. Your favorite neighborhood, Paco. I'm not even. I will hold on. Let me screen share. Let me just.
Your friendly neighborhood.
No, it's at Zoom.
Just
Otto, Rhino, Larry, right?
Rhino
What?
Larian.
Rhino, Laren.
Jolliest.
Jolliest.
That's it.
Yep.
Thank you.
The Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, Zach Canals, and Feige's Boomer Burner. Be sure to consider the $5 tier. Beginning of next year is when we're going to be doing the Versus Series tournament. That'll be whenever schedules are freed up enough to do that. Spencer normally ends up doing a lot of family visiting this time of year, and everything kind of started early for him. So once he's back in action, we will get the Versus Series tournament set up and everything. We'll be doing that as a live show. As I said before, you can go to the student store link where you can check out our TeePublic.
TeePublic.com.
You get all manner of Nerd Academy merch and goodies. Again, it's Christmas time, so everything's going to be pretty much terminally on sale until the new year.
We don't got
so go check all that out. Yeah, t-shirts.com. tpublic.com. Get your t-shirts. We're going to buy that domain, t-shirts.com. SundaysBloodyMary.com/shop, code TNAP. Thank you all for watching, listening. Our Spider-Man No Way Home coverage has been like this odyssey over the past year, and I think it's a fun little way to kind of end the year. Obviously, we'll be back probably next week to talk the Hawkeye finale and the season as a whole. But this is definitely our last big. This is our last big show. Last big live show and shit like that. So thank you for a very fun year of TNAP as it has been, video format and all that jazz. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Merry Birthmas to the person in the bottom right corner.
Happy.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mitch. It's been a blast. So thank you all for watching and listening and however you engage, and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.
It's gonna be a big nut.